love that this company doesn't have any of that.
This is Rec Room Sports. Olympians carrying the torch, going where they don't go. We ain't lost. From the optics to the topics, we got this with synopsis. Think outside the boxes like Jay on the mic or your boy K-Whit. Joe is my coach, T-Sweat on the mix. All sports, even if you catch fish like Nate Diaz catches fist. You need to catch this episode, it's a can't miss. We go live and you should subscribe and X's and O's. We made our plan, yo.
Oh, it's the Red Room. Hold up, it's the Red Room. That's right, man. It's the spooky hour. Happy Halloween, boys and girls, ghouls and goblins, do's and don'ts, man. You know what's going on, man. It's me. It's K-Whit. Of course, man. We're having a great time like normal. Each and every episode of the Rec Room Sports Show, we do our best to cover a comprehensive knowledge of sports in and around your local vicinity. And we're taking a little bit of everywhere today, especially being that it's Halloween, man. Oh, my God, man. We got guests on top of guests on top of guests. And you know what's up, man. It's already me. It's your boy, K-Whit. I'm right here in the building like we always do. We got my man, T-Sweat, also known as T-Sweat, better known as T-Sweat, but you can call him T-Sweat. T-Sweat, what up? Happy Halloween.
T-Sweat, happy Halloween, everybody.
Right. And we got my man, Jay, on the MIC. He is incognito right now, but he will be joining us later on in the show. I am excited to do this one because we're going to go ahead and get right into the meat of things, the crux of it, because we're going to start doing this just like this every week with live guests and more comprehensive. I can't even talk. So much candy I had the other day at the zoo. You know what I'm saying? With more comprehensive information. Like, real talk, right now, this is a scary time for baseball because we got my guy, Allen, back in the building. And for the first time, we got the big homie, one and only, Jonathan Gresham in the building. What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing tonight?
Oh, boy. I feel like we're about to go up 3-1. I don't know about you.
Hey, listen, but trust me, we're going to get completely all into the MLB. Of course, the World Series is going on right now. In case you haven't been living under a rock, everybody knows if you've been checking out the shows, we got our guy Allen in the building. You know what he does, man. The baseball show on LTS, the NFC South, the East round tables, the Let's Talk Dallas Cowboys. He's all Cowboys. He's all Sooners. He's all Thunders. But we talking baseball right now. So he is all Texas Rangers for sure tonight, man. Okay. Then we got the guy, man. This guy over here. We you remember, Trevor, I told you we was going to get the guy, right?
Yeah.
We finally got him. Look at him. He's right there. We got my man, Jonathan Gresham. Now, if you haven't seen him before on any of the Let's Talk Sports shows, this is who we go to get our comprehensive, deep, in-depth stats, baseball knowledge. The books go way back with this guy. I'm finally glad we got him on our show, man. Jonathan, what's going on? How you feeling, bro?
Man, I'm doing good. I appreciate the intro. That was awesome, man. Thank you for that. Hey,
I gotta give you props when you deserve them, man. So you know how we do it. This is what we do, right? I gotta tell them all the stuff about you. So he's an assistant coach at University of Arkansas, Rich Mountain. Okay, didn't know that. Former minor league ball player. All right, he does segments on the Buffoon. Shout out to my guy Tanner. He also goes on Bodkins Show. Shout out to my guy Nick Bodkins. And he does Let's Talk Baseball and Let's Talk NFC South with everybody the other guy we as before mentioned. Shout out to Allen. He's done broadcasting and podcasting with us in the LTS family for about 2 years now. His favorite Major League Baseball team just so happens to be the Atlanta Braves. And of course, where
friends
is
already,
they when
man.
you need them? You know what I'm saying? Because y'all, yeah, right. Chop on. You know, y'all are family when it comes to that. And like, who had no? And we had no idea that you was an assistant coach right now. Like, are you in the middle of the
Yeah.
season doing what you do?
Yeah, that actually just happened last week. Last week was my first week. I got hired out here, so I moved literally a few weeks ago from Dallas Fort Worth to a little small town in Mena, Arkansas. I'm sure no one has ever heard. We're right in the middle of the mountains, so it just happened like I said, just a couple weeks ago. I'm in my second week right now. I'm hitting it hard, so I'm enjoying it. It was my first college coaching job. I've been coaching. I've been coaching baseball and softball for 10 years back in Dallas Fort Worth during and after my playing career. But the goal at some point was always to get into the college coaching ranks, and I was able to knock that check mark off my list and begin that currently this year. So yeah, it's new. It's still brand new. It's got that the new car smell going still right now.
Congrats.
Hey, congrats, man. That's what's up.
Appreciate
Well, if you ever want to get around to Carolina, Trevor's the guy. We're well connected in Carolina out here. All right, so we got the baseball court on right now, fellas. No other thing to bring up other than the World Series. Somebody's getting smacked up, but at the same time, we might as well talk about the whole thing. We got MLB talk with the Rec Room Sports crew. The Texas Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks are going head to head right now. Being that it's Halloween, it's almost like somebody is playing headless, if you will, right? So we haven't been on in a while. So tell us, of course, we got Alan right here, my guy Al. This is your thing, right? This is your team. These are your Rangers. Tell us what you've been seeing from your perspective, especially with this slobber knocker we got going on right now, with your boys up 11-1 on the Diamondbacks.
Well, it was a good series the first three games. I mean, you had the comeback in game one that went down to the wire. Seager had the 2-run homer to tie it. Garcia had the go ahead home run to win it in game one. Diamondbacks, you talk about the 11-1 game tonight. They did that to us in game two. They put up 9 runs to our 1 in game 2. So this is more of like our little Uno Reverso card here in game 4. So and then 3-1 win in game 3. I know a lot of people are paying attention to this World Series because obviously none of the big market teams are a part of it. Nobody who's a Dodgers fan wants to watch the Diamondbacks play in the World Series. Nobody who's a Yankees fan wants to watch the Rangers. No Astro fan wants to watch us play in the World Series. They're cheering for the Diamondbacks.
Astros don't like anybody.
Astros don't like anybody that much. So none of the big markets are really into this World Series, but if you're a diehard baseball fan, this is a breath of fresh air. And I think we talked about it on our show today. You don't see matchups like this very often in the playoffs or in a World Series format like this. Texas, Arizona is something you would, and none of us ever thought these two teams were going to make it in the end. Arizona, they could have been a dark horse team. Texas was one of those teams, maybe with Bruce Bochy, they figure it out. But, you didn't expect these two teams to be where they're at right now in the World Series. So it's a breath of fresh air. It's fun to watch. Yes, Arizona is getting pummeled right now, but, this team has a bright future. They got a lot of young talent. It's only going to get better from here, and they're going to be a contender for years to come.
Oh, yeah, okay. So with them having had gotten this far, are we seeing you pretty much say that this is over?
I mean, yeah, I think it is. I think, obviously they get the win tonight. They got Evaldi and Gallen tomorrow in game 5. Rangers haven't lost a game on the road yet, which is right now they're about to get their record 10th win on the road in a row in the playoffs. So, kudos to them. They've been playing very well. I think they continue that tomorrow, close out this World Series and get our first title.
All right. Hey, look, man, Jonathan, man, he laid down the gauntlet right now when it comes to what he thinks is going to happen. In your opinion, are you on the same bandwagon right about now as far as the Texas Rangers are concerned, bro?
Yeah, I am. I think this was a game. I think this was a message game that the Rangers put together right now against the Diamondbacks, and not and kind of how Alan and I talked earlier today. If you're the Rangers, you have to prevent momentum swing. Basically, exactly what happened in Game 1 and Game 2, where you had the Diamondbacks kind of control Game 1. Rangers came in and stole it away with a tying run, a home run in the 9th, and then a walk off in the 11th, and then the Diamondbacks came out and were on fire in Game 2. You had to prevent that, and this was a message that offense, especially losing Adolis Garcia, where there was a lot of question marks with that big bat out of the lineup. Was this offense going to still be able to produce? Well, you have the eventual, I won't say eventual, but you can probably say that, but the potential World Series MVP and Corey Seager absolutely start the fireworks off in the second inning with another home run. He's been absolutely on fire this series and all postseason. Seager's been phenomenal for them. And then you throw in another home run. Marcus Semien breaks out of his slump. And then Jonah Heim hits one in the 8th inning. This was something that they needed to not only prevent momentum swing for the Diamondbacks to come out and steal another game and make this a series, but you have to, if you're the Rangers, control the series. Let your offense absolutely dominate and take charge like it was supposed to do in Game 1. It didn't do in Game 2. It kind of did in Game 3, and this is the game that we've been waiting to see from this offense all World Series, and we've seen all postseason and all regular season. So at this point, with the power production, Diamondbacks cannot match that. They're still getting 8 hits in this game, 9 hits currently in the bottom of the 8th right now. Diamondbacks still have 9 hits. So they're still putting the ball in play. But the difference maker between the two teams right now in this game is Rangers are 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. That's a huge, huge number. Whereas the Diamondbacks, from what I saw here, they are currently 1 for 6. There's your difference maker is that the bats of the Rangers are producing. With the Diamondbacks, they're getting on base, but they're not producing when it matters most. And that's why you have a score of 11-1 right now, and the momentum is completely in the Rangers side going into the end of this game and end of Game 4, and then going into Game 5 and tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm. Okay, see, look, that's what we brought you on the show for. Analysis. Analyze this thing for us, big guy. That's what I'm talking about. Now, look, we're not going to play predictor too hard, right? But this is what we're going to do. We're going to look retrospectively at the playoffs this year. Like, my big question for you guys, right, is as we look at the format, right, we had a lot of teams come in to the playoff series, that their respective playoff series, and I heard you use the word, Jonathan, with momentum. Like, with the way that the playoff system is set up for the MLB right now, is it useful for these teams with momentum, or is it something like a tool to go against them? Because I've heard on several shows, man, that extra week had played a huge part into what happened, because a lot of those teams came in hot, they were smoking. Young teams, Baltimore, LA. We saw, not necessarily the Phillies, but we saw what happened to them with that week off. Like, somewhere in there is the new format killing, how we used to look at baseball in the playoffs, in October, or are we looking at it kind of like as maybe like an even playing field? I'll let both of you guys go ahead and get at it. Alan, you go first on this.
Well, it's kind of complicated because, yes, you got that extended period of rest. Yes, these teams are coming in with momentum. In certain cases, you look at the Astros, they're one of those teams that got the week bye and still were able to fend off a Minnesota team that was actually red hot coming into the postseason. Did a good job there. Braves, not so much against the Phillies. Dodgers, they got blown out by the team that's playing right now in Arizona. And then, of course, the Rangers, blow out the Orioles in that series. So, it can affect it, especially there's a lot of people that are discussing maybe a change to the format to make it a little bit more simpler. Well, not just for the teams themselves, but for people to understand. Like, me personally, I was confused about the format because I was like, oh wait, they don't reseed like every other sport does, or more specifically, the sport that gets watched most, the NFL. So yeah, I was a little confused by that, but you know what? I mean, it kind of worked out for me personally because my team took the momentum and rode with it. Like I said, we've won at this point 9 straight road games. If they win tonight, it'll be 10. But you know, it can take it can take the wind out of some of these teams, kind of like what it did really to Baltimore and Atlanta. I think got affected the most by it. Dodgers, I would say their injuries affected them a lot more than what the week off did. And then, of course, you know, the Astros were able to still capitalize regardless because it's the Astros and this is what they do. But, you know, really, I think they're going to fine tune this. They're going to try to fine tune this as best as they can. But right now, this is pretty much what we're stuck with.
I got you, man. Okay, so look, Jonathan, just about the same thing with the way that the format is. I know there are some teams that we saw, you know, go out, do their thing, regular season. We're going, oh man, these guys are going to come into the playoffs, maybe at whatever seed they were at, and put it all out there on the field. But somehow, some way, they couldn't turn it on when it was necessary. Is the new format playing a bit into, like I said, leveling the playing field a little bit, or is this something, or is this just baseball? Or we got to get used to it?
So the first point that I bring about this when I get asked about the playoff format is, when in a season does a team get 5 days off? Well, they don't. Even though the All-Star break is 3 days, you have a travel day, and then you play on Friday from there. So it doesn't really. There's no sense of the season where anybody gets 5 days off, and you're going to tell the top teams that you know, the number 1 seeds and the number 2 seeds, hey, you're going to get a 5-day break, and then figure out how to get back and playing ball. That may work in the NFL where you get a bye week. I mean, the NFL, they want teams to get the bye. Like, you have to get that bye because that is again, you're in a car wreck every week, basically, as a football player. That extra week is for recovery purposes solely. In baseball, you don't need that. I mean, again, you will have bumps and bruises. It's 162 games. It's a long season. I get it. But baseball is about momentum. As we said, it's about momentum, but it's also about a rhythm. And if you play so many games in so many days, you have a rhythm of your days, of what you're used to, and you stick to it, and it's and you have to continue it. And when you have those 5 days off as a top seed, you have to try to figure out what the rhythm is going to continue to be, and it's not the same as then when like the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves did simulated games. They got their AAA guys to come and play in Atlanta against the major league team and simulated 9-inning ball game as if it, say, hey, game 1 for the division series is at 6:30. We're going to play the game at 6:30. We're going to treat everything like it is, normally would be for that game 1, but in the simulated version. And then we're going to go from there and be able to be ourselves ready to go. The problem is in a simulated game, it is not the same intensity. It's certainly not the same intensity as a postseason game, let alone a regular season game. You're going to ask these guys to continue the rhythm that they had throughout the season and treat it like it's a everyday call. So you get a 5-day break. That doesn't work that way. So the purpose of of how they formatted is exactly what you're saying. It's to level the playing field of the playoffs. You giving the 6th and 7th, the 6th seed opportunity to run the table and make it to a World Series. But what's the purpose of postseason? You want the best team to play in the World Series. You want the best team to compete for a championship. Will we have upsets? Absolutely, we'll have upsets, and some people love upsets, and you'll get those moments. But but we're going to have 3 or 4 upsets of postseason play. Well, now I have a little bit of a problem with that because we're not getting the best of the season, because you had Braves, who were the best team in baseball all season long, and they get beat by the Philadelphia Phillies, who They end up getting beat by the Arizona Diamondbacks, who skated their way into the postseason in the last couple of days. Credit to the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm not taking anything away from their accomplishment, but we are solely focusing on making sure everybody has the opportunity to compete for a World Series instead of saying we want the best teams to compete for a World Series. And if we get the best team, guess what? That means the ratings are going to get high. That means we're going to get more fan base to it. But they're looking at it, the Major League Baseball is looking at it and saying, well, if we give everybody a chance, we can get our audience more into it. That's not always the case. And you'll see that as the ratings come out more and more when the series is over. This may not be the most watched World Series because it is small market teams that are not known nationally. It doesn't excite the nation. And you're gonna kind of shoot yourself in the foot if you're Major League Baseball by trying it out this way instead of just focusing on getting the best teams in the season competing for a World Series.
See, look, and right there, you said several magic words, and I know that if my guy Jay was here, he would definitely have to chime in because we talked about it. The Atlanta Braves. I mean, best team in baseball, going crazy. Ronald Acuna, MVP season, and somehow, some way, due to the format, they just don't make it out past the Phillies. I mean, was that really the Braves, letting that series go, or was that the Phillies heating up at the right time? Alan, how about you on that one?
And I'll answer that. And I'm not taking anything away. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alan. Go ahead, Alan.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, John. I got you. Boo.
All right. I'm not going to take anything away from what the Phillies did. The Phillies outplayed the Braves. Point blank in the story. They beat us. And so the credit goes to the Philadelphia Phillies for beating the Atlanta Braves. And I'm not going to, and I'm being a former player and a coach now, I'm not going to sit here and say, man, if we just played the games like we did. Well, no, you know what? The hand was dealt. We had to do what we could. Brian Snicker in the front office and the coaching staff put together a plan to try to make sure they stayed fresh. They did what they could. We just got beat. I mean, that is what it is. We got beat by the Phillies. So I tip my hat to them. I'm not taking any credit away from the Phillies for doing what they did. Is there a factor? Now, if I'm just going to speak as an analyst here, not as a fan, was that a factor? I do think it was a factor. I do think that break was a factor. And we saw it from the Orioles. We saw it from the Dodgers. We saw it again. The only team that didn't have that issue was the Houston Astros, who had a really good matchup for them in the American League Division Series. I mean, it was the Minnesota Twins, so they had a matchup that was in favor of them. Braves didn't have that matchup. They had a very bad matchup. It was a division rival that can compete with them on any stage. We saw the last 2 years so far. Dodgers and Diamondbacks, bad matchup. Dodgers weren't healthy. Baltimore, bad matchup. Texas Rangers will absolutely beat the crap out of them offensively. So there was a lot of bad matchups that you can look at in those teams that lost. But could you say again, as an analyst here, was it an issue? Yes, I think the 5 days was a problem. As a fan, I won't use that as the if we played immediately we would have beat the Phillies. Well, you got to play what you got to play. You got to have it from there, and that's the hand that we were dealt, and we lost.
Man, look here. I mean, once again, I gotta tip my hat to that one because in reality, I definitely was out here going, cheering for the Braves with the homies. I wanted them to win, and somehow, some way, it didn't work out. Alan, analyze this for me, bro. I mean, and Jonathan had a great point. He also brought up the Dodgers. Once again, Clayton Kershaw, the best pitcher ever, as long as it's not in the playoffs, in my opinion. Mookie Betts losing his mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we look at this playoff picture, especially being somewhat of the first of its kind, and say, like, did the best team lose, or did an unsuspected team win? Do you see what I'm saying? Which one? And I know which one you might go for because technically you're benefiting from it as well. So go ahead, bro.
I mean, in this scenario, I would say with the Dodgers and Diamondbacks, it's hard to comprehend because, like Jonathan said, the Dodgers were just riddled with injuries. And the big problem in that series was that none of their best players showed out in that series. I think they were like a combined like 1 of 23 or something like that in all 3 games. I'm not sure what the stat was, but I know it wasn't a good thing. But the 5 days does matter. It does cause a little bit of effect, and and it's like Jonathan said, you can't simulate a playoff game. You really can't, because the crowd noise is different. The intensity is different. The situations are different. And I'll use game 1 as an example in this World Series. You can't simulate being down 5-3 in the bottom of the 9th and trying to hit a game-tying 2-run home run. You can't really simulate that, especially with the amplified crowd noise and whatnot. So it doesn't have the same feel to it. So was it a factor? Yes. In the end, does it come down to the performance on the field? Yes. But there can be some changes to the format for it as well. So it's not perfect, but it's what we got. And just want to kind of update the Diamondbacks got a grand slam from Yordis Gurriel, so it's 11-5 now.
Hey, I know for sure baseball is one of those games where you got to keep your eyes on it the entire time to see what's going to happen, man. Another quick question for you guys, man. In my peeping out what's been going on with the baseball season, of course, a lot of times when we think about teams being well put together, we think about teams spending money. For instance, everybody knows the Mets had like one of the highest payrolls like ever. You know what I'm saying? And technically, somehow, some way, when it didn't work out, they traded them away. They traded all the they got Scherzer out of there. You know what I'm saying? Look at, well, of course he's not pitching right now because he's going to be out. But and then you look at on the opposite end, a young team like the Orioles, come through smoking, for the whole season. Like, is the dynamics of baseball changing a little bit to whereas it's not about even though the markets may be big, some of them, it's not about spending the most money. It's about acquiring the best talent. Like or is it somewhere in the middle? Like, what do you guys think about that?
Well, I'm sure Jonathan could tell you that with his Braves, these guys are some of the top tier players in baseball, and they get paid a lot, but they are young talent still. The Braves paid these guys while they were young. They got them their extended contracts instead of going out and fishing for, the bigger stars in the league, like your Yankees or the Dodgers of the other, the big name markets. And it's kind of proved it, this year, the Padres and the Mets had 2 of the biggest salaries in baseball, and both of them didn't even sniff October this year. So just because a team has the most money and has the most to spend doesn't mean that they're going to get a rightful passage into the postseason. And with these teams, Tampa Bay is a good example. They're not made of money, certainly not made of money, and yet somehow, some way, they always find a way to make it into the postseason. We said Baltimore. Baltimore's probably the youngest team in baseball, and they were the best team in the American League this year. The team with all the age and wanderlust is Houston for some reason, but that's starting to fade away a little bit because their ages are starting to show. Now it's the younger teams. It's your Baltimore, Atlanta, Texas in the American League. Arizona, you could throw Arizona in that mix too. These teams are starting to show that with the new rule changes, with the pitch clock, with everything that has changed in baseball, it is a young man's game now. And if the older guys are starting to struggle a little bit, especially if you're an older starting pitcher. So, it's the change that we're going through right now in baseball.
Yeah,
what's on you, Johnny, man?
Yeah,
tell
every team has their own dynamic on how they want to handle business. And as Alan said, my Braves, they've spent for 30 years building homegrown talent and being able to develop their players in their farm. They spend money here and there. The Braves, just kind of using an example, the Braves have gone out and spent money at times. Throughout their history, over the last 25, 30 years, they brought in Gary Sheffield. They brought in Andres Galarraga. They've brought in Ken Caminetti, Vinny Castillo in the 90s and in the late 90s and early 2000s. You go and you'd be able to bring in guys like Justin Upton. You trade for Justin Upton. You trade for Dansby Swanson. And even though he came into the farm, into the farm system, he was traded for. You brought him in. You're able to make these moves and be able to develop. You're still developing those guys as well as mixing in some veterans that you need to have with the team. Look at both these teams right now in the World Series, the Rangers and Diamondbacks. You have a lot of young talent mixed in with good veterans that provide leadership, but also provide what the role is asked of them, and that is to still produce, not at the elite level that they need to, but at the level where you can let the young kids still develop and be able to learn how to carry the franchise. Look at Corbin Carroll right now. Corbin Carroll, Rookie of the Year, is going to be in the National League, but you have veterans, Ketel Marte, Christian Walker, Evan Longoria, guys that he can learn and watch and be able to go. Lourdes Gurriel is another one for that Diamondbacks team. Look at the Rangers. You have Evan Carter, who's a young developing rookie this year, and he's going to continue to just blossom in his career. You have guys like Marcus Semien, Corey Seager. You have Adolis Garcia, who's still kind of young, and he's still developing himself in the big leagues, but he's been around enough to at least share some of the stories to Carter and be able to how to be a professional. That's very valuable. So you need the dynamic of both youth and veterans to be able to have a successful run during a season and a postseason. The Mets did not have that. The Mets, they looked at it and says, well, hey, we're going to go and just get veterans that might be past their prime. Scherzer was traded a year or two ago. They went and got in Verlander and said, hey, we're going to sign a 40-year-old Verlander to replace a Jacob deGrom. Well, that doesn't make any sense. And I know deGrom has been injured throughout his career. But the comparison of deGrom in his career when he's healthy to Verlander when he right now at 40 years old when he's healthy, that's not a really good comparison of what they did. And they didn't improve the roster when it mattered the most or where it mattered the most. And that was in the batting order. Get your pitchers that you need that to be able to get the depth in your rotation, but provide run support for a pitching staff that absolutely needed it. They didn't do that. The San Diego Padres, they just spent $300 million on Manny Machado, $300 million on Fernando Tatis, $300 million on I'm trying to think of Alexander Bogarts, $200 million on Yu Darvish, $200 million on Blake Snell. Jake Cronenworth is a good ball player, but he's not worth $80 million. They just threw money out there to say we're just going to do it because we have the money to do it. Well, that's not the right formula, and that's why they got where they were in one of the bottom dwellers of the National League. So you have to be able to be smart on your finances. You have to be able to be smart with your payroll, balance youth, especially with the rule changes of the faster game. When the game is being played in 2.5 hours, guess what? Young guys can handle that a whole lot better than older veteran guys that are in their mid-30s and late 30s. They're going to break down a lot quicker. So you see that again with these two teams in the World Series right now. So balancing youth with veterans is a must for today's baseball teams, and be able to spend money the right way. Spend money, but make sure you're doing it where it can still elongate your roster in depth to be able to compete.
I was going to say, look at what it's done to the Mets now. They're now gone from we're going all in to now we're in a 5-year rebuild. And, you talked about them trading, replacing Max Scherzer Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer with for Jacob deGrom. Now Scherzer and deGrom are in Texas right now. Verlander's back in Houston, and both of those teams were in the ALCS this year. So, these teams have got to realize, and you could kind of say the Yankees did the same thing. They didn't really develop their farm system that well. And yes, the kids they have there, they've got some guys that have shown flashes at times. And you could say maybe a couple of them are gonna maybe be bright spots in the league, but Josh Donaldson, you had to let him go. He ended up with the Twins, getting them to the post, helping them get to the postseason. Really, Giancarlo Stanton, who that contract is probably one of the worst in baseball right now, is not living up to that. And really, all you have is you have Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge, and that's it. You can't rely on just two guys to help you get through the season. You got to have, like Jonathan said, that mixture of youth and experience, and that's what all of these playoff teams really, all of these playoff teams had it. Little bit of mixture of youth and experience. So,
man, you know what? Like every time I think of like Max Scherzer pitching, I think of this. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't imagine staring down a guy with two different colored eyes throwing heaters at me, and I'm trying to figure out which eye to stare into to figure out where he's going to throw. But in all seriousness, you guys, one of the things I know I heard both of you mention is the infusion of youth and older players onto a good roster. Now, does that also include the manager? Because I can't lie. Like one of the things, and I'm gonna tell you what right now. I'm a Dusty Baker fan. Okay, my granddad, I forgot somewhere in like one of those games where the players go play with the Army or something like that. My granddad hung out with like Dusty Baker and drank a beer. He always told me that story. But like with the way that they're going with the things like the pitch clock and things like that, is that also having an effect on the outcome of games? Like they had it going on in the minor leagues. They liked it. The time's getting shorter. Fans are staying longer. They're enjoying more of the game because it's more action, there's more hits, there's more plays on base, stuff like that. But is there like an affect, not an effect, but an affect where somewhere in there, I'm throwing out my elbow because I'm pitching a little faster. The plays on base are happening faster. You can only throw the first base, I think, twice. These new rules, are they having a positive effect on the game this season, in you guys' opinion, or is it just one of those things? Hey, it's baseball, it's new. We gotta run with it. What you guys think?
I'll give the player perspective. I think there's things that the players do enjoy about these new rules, and there's things that the players absolutely just don't get and don't like. Again, the pitch clock situation, the pitch clock, that is a fan base thing. And again, I've gone through games. I've played, and I retired before the pitch clock even became a factor in minor league ball. So I never got to experience that. Never in my career have I sat back and I go, man, we're in the fifth inning. This is taking forever. I've never thought that way before. And I've played with a lot of guys that have never had that thought. We never sat in the dugout and go, are you kind of ready to go home? That's a fan base thing. That's Rob Manfred looking at it and saying, well, we got to get the fans taken care of. The faster game does make things a little bit more rushed. And we had players coming out at the beginning of the year, and they kind of been a little bit quiet as the year went on about it. But there was a lot of complaints. If you remember, they're back in April and May, and even a little bit in June still, where players were just fed up with this pitch clock. It was rushing everything. We're not robots, and when we play this game, again, people outside think, well, anybody can just do this. Anybody can go and hit a fastball at 97 miles an hour. I mean, you don't need to have a thought process or plan to be able to. No, that's actually what we do. This is human chess. You have to think out what you're doing and why you're going to do it. Why are you looking for something in the box when a ball's coming at you at 98 to 100 miles an hour, or a 95 miles an hour pitch that's breaking 8 to 10 inches away from you, or running 4 to 6 inches inside your hands? You have to prepare and mentally prepare every single pitch. And if you put a clock on it and you're telling these guys, well, you can't leave the box really, because if you do leave the box, you call time. If you do it twice, it's a strike. Well, now you're punishing the pitcher, just like the batter. Just like if the pitcher steps off, takes too long, he's trying to make sure he gets the right pitch. Then you're going to then you're going to punish him by hits a ball, and he may throw the wrong pitch that it gets hit for 450 feet. Guess what? If it's a young guy too who's trying to get his feet wet in the big leagues, he makes a wrong pitch. He gets sent down to AAA now. Now you just cost him a job in the big leagues because he didn't have the necessary time to prepare what pitch was necessary to throw at that moment. There's a lot of factors in the pitch clock that I'm not a fan of. I get the benefit of it. I get the financial benefit of it, of what they're doing and why they're doing it. They're trying to get fans involved. And the more fans involved, the more money's brought in, which is a good thing for players too. I'm not going to sit there. I mean, players, again, they will make a good chunk of change of the fans showing up to stadiums and buying merchandise and everything like that. I get it 100%. Same thing with the TV market. When you have more people watch TV and watch the games on TV, the players still get a big chunk of that pie. I get it. But you cannot take away the factor of what this game is. It is a human chess game. And if you take the thought process out and you just say, just go do, it doesn't work. And you're costing guys their career, whether it's a hitter or a pitcher. You're putting them in jeopardy of either getting injured, and you have a lot of injuries still occur this year. You had a lot more injuries, and I have to go back and look at the numbers on that side. But there was quite a bit more injuries this year in pitching, particularly than what we've seen in a trend. But at the same time, you may cost some of these guys a job where they get sent down to AAA. We may never see them again called up because they struggled in certain areas and situations. So I get it. I get why they did it. It'll be very tough for me to be a fan of the pitch clock rules that we have implemented in Major League Baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, for the younger players, it might not be an issue because some of these guys coming up from the minors had this system already implemented. So these guys are pretty much used to it. That's why you're seeing some of the younger teams have success with it. But some of the veteran guys, I can understand why it's such a painful thing to adjust to, because you take the element of that chess match away. And not only does it affect the pitchers and then of course the hitters as well, it affects the managers. It's a whole rounded thing. It's a whole chess game basically is what it is. That's what the game of baseball is. It's one big giant chess game, and you take that element out. Yes, you're going to get shorter games, but like Jonathan said, you're putting guys' careers in jeopardy. You're riding the risk of people getting injured more often. Managers as well, will probably their jobs will be more in jeopardy in certain cases if they make the wrong decision or if they make the wrong move. It has its huge factors. I know financially and for the audience sake, for fans' sake, it's been a success. But as far as what it's done for the players, it's still a mixed bag of results. Some people like it, some people hate it. And sometimes, like Jonathan said, it can cost players either, their jobs, careers, what have you. So it has both a positive and a negative effect to it.
And just to kind of counter, extend and counter the point that Alan made that the minor leaguers that are the guys that have been in the minors, they're used to this. They've been doing this for quite a few years in the minor leagues in 8,000 seat stadium against guys that they can dominate, and that's why they do get called up to the big leagues. But now you have to do these rules, the pitch clock rules, in front of a 40,000 seat stadium against some of the greatest hitters in the world. That's a whole different atmosphere that you're now having to. We see kids all the time, they want to get that call up and they're rushing themselves more because their adrenaline is so high. And then, oh, by the way, you got to still have to rush yourself a little bit because of the pitch clock. Now they're out of control. I watched it quite a handful of times this year, watching guys make their major league debut. More times than not, you see these guys just absolutely out of control and are so out of this sync because, one, big league debut, their adrenaline's high, their heartbeat's racing. They're wanting to make sure that they get the opportunity to stay in the big leagues, and then they get teed off on and they don't last 2 innings because everything was just so out of sync and out of sort, and they're having to rush and on top of the pitch clock on it. So, yeah, these guys are used to it in the minor leagues, not in the big leagues where it's a whole different atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I'm telling you, check this out. So what do you call an old player who's got face paint on and can't adjust with the times? A clown, right? Okay. But look, this is my thing, you guys. Look, we've gone on to so much right now.
I need to bring you guys back on so we can talk more about this baseball because, of course, I got some more questions. We got some more to cover as far as, you know what I'm saying, when the World Series is possibly over. Wink, wink. Shout out to Alan going on. Hey, Jonathan, man, like, check this out. I know you're a busy man. Tell us what you got going on this week because, you know, we want to make sure we tap in with you.
Yeah, so right now, again, this is still kind of getting myself acclimated to my program that I'm at the University of Arkansas Rich Mountain. We had a day off today. We're starting to get our boys in winter workout program. Everything we're doing is now preparing for the spring season and potentially chasing a conference championship and even a national championship. That's our aspirations this year. So we're getting these boys physically ready. We got weight room in the morning at 5 a.m. It'll be as much as 5 a.m. Man, that's crazy. I love it. I miss those days. I wish I can get the weight, hit the weights with them. But we have weight room in the morning, 5 a.m. And like I said, we're just getting these boys in the mindset, physically and mentally ready for what we're going to be experiencing this spring. So we're hitting the ground running hard with these boys and getting this team ready to go for what we're trying to achieve.
Hey man, look, I appreciate you coming through because I know your schedule is always jam packed. I know you always got a lot going on, but look, hey Alan, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? I know you got you all over the place when it comes to that. You pretty much the Let's Talk Sports Rookie of the Year, man. Tell us what you got going on this week, man, for the rest of the week, bro.
So we got the NFC South roundtable tomorrow. NFC East roundtable as well. Let's Talk Dallas Cowboys on Saturday. The new college football show on Saturday as well. We'll be talking about the first playoff rankings. It is 11-7 right now. What the fuck is going on? Oh my god!
Heart jumping out your chest now, right?
Will Smith just gave up 2 more runs. I'm like, yeah, get Leclerc in there now. Let's get this game over with, for God's sake. Jesus.
Well, look, Alan.
They're stressing me out. They're stressing me out right now.
Well, look, Alan. You said you definitely want to talk about. So you got college football playoff rankings coming up. You want to stick around and talk with us about that?
I unfortunately can't because, like Jonathan, I have to be up at 5 a.m. in the morning. So I got to get to work in the morning.
More time.
I wish I had
Hey,
more
look,
time.
fellas, I just like that sound effect said, I wish we had more time to talk baseball. Jonathan, man, thanks for coming on for the first time. Your chair is always open with the homies of the rec room. Alan, you already know what's up, man. You already like the little bro. You can come whenever you want. And I appreciate you guys once again. Thank you both for coming on the show at such a quick notice and having like such a comprehensive information about the show. I look at it, we're on like 47 minutes. Who knew we was going to talk baseball that much? But I love it. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you, man.
Hey, Alan, check in. Tell me what the score is. All right, man. Look, I love it. Hey, look, every time we got guests on the show, they are doing their job and helping us do better. So make sure you're checking in with us when we tap in with our guys. You make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Rec Room podcast. Don't forget, you got to follow us on Twitter. You got to follow us on Instagram. You got to follow us on TikTok. Because I'm your boy YaBoyKWhit right there on TikTok. I think Sweat, you got a TikTok too yet? No?
TikTok, yeah. _ T Sweat, everything.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, Sweat's got a TikTok. Too. Alan said he's got to go to work at 5. I thought he was going to kick it with us and talk some of these college playoff rankings. But check this out, man. It happened for the first time today. The college football playoff rankings were released. And boy, let me tell you what. Some people are mad. Some people are happy. Big shouts out to my guy, Freeport. Freeport is always on the show. I'm surprised we didn't get a chance to talk with him today about these college playoff rankings. And big shout out to Coach Joey, because we definitely going to talk about what it looks like to be number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, as you can see down here on the bottom of the screen, we got the top 4, and those are the ones that matter for the beginning of the playoff rankings. We got number 1, Ohio State. Man, looking crazy. Of course, their defense is real. They have a synergy coming together. Quarterback and wide receiver is happening right before our very eyes. Then we got, of course, number 2, the Dogs of Georgia, still there somewhere in the top. Of course, you can't ever forget about Georgia, you know what I mean? I mean, what else can we say? You know, two-time national champions, defenses out up the wazoo, constantly figuring out ways to win really close games recently, and of course, putting up crazy numbers both on offense and defense. Then you got number 3, Michigan. Right now, you know, if Harbaugh's going on a little bit of scrutiny right now with this supposed alleged cheating scandal that's possibly happening. And you know, if it's any fluidity, you know, anything that comes up with that, we will definitely fill you in. But right now, everything is alleged. Then right there on the backside, we got Florida. That's right, them Florida boys back on the rise, undefeated, looking good, playing some great competition, going into the end of the
Shout out to Travis.
Yeah. Shout out to them, right? Going into mid-season right there. Then then you got the last 2 out, which always can be a possibility of them slipping in between that 3 or 4 with either a loss or a big win on their schedule. We got 5, Washington. Of course, you know, they got they got Penix, the quarterback, possible Heisman Trophy winner, or definitely Heisman Trophy candidate. And then of course we got the retirement home, also known as Oregon, where my man Bo Nix is the quarterback. Shout out to Bo Nix, man. I mean, me and him took freshman classes together at South Carolina State. Then he transferred when he figured he can go play at Auburn. Sweat, man. Looking at these playoff rankings right now, and you know, I know you got your eye on a few things. Like, where do you see the fault? Like, what could be changed between at least 1 through 6 with what's going on right now with the rankings?
1 through 6. You know, definitely the Ohio State Michigan game gonna shake up things. I think whoever wins out of that one might end up being the 2nd seed, and Georgia might jump back to the 1 seed. That's what I think gonna happen. And I think Florida State, as long as they don't lose, they'll keep that 4th seed. And I think Washington and Oregon they're gonna be left out because Washington had their chance, but they messed up. They messed up their game, so that one loss.
Now, you know, and listen, it happens every year where somehow, some way, Santa Claus gives one of the teams easy game, an easy win, and then somehow somebody creeps into the the college football playoff that we just don't suspect. Right now, of course, for me, I'm looking at Oregon. Their schedule right now, of course, haven't had played some of the tougher teams in their conference.
Schedule.
It's a it's a possibility, especially if they, you know, get anywhere, if they get the chance to sniff the championship game in the Pac-12. It's a possibility that they could sneak in there that top 4 and give any one of these top 4 teams a run.
Would Washington be part of that?
I mean, as of right now, I believe Washington would end up playing the two of them would end up playing each other if no one else loses in conference play. Because of course, you know, unfortunately, you know, we wanted to see Coach Prime and Colorado do well this season, and it's not like they're not doing well. Let's not get it twisted. First of all, you know,
only bad game they had was the Oregon game, really.
Let's not get it twisted. They come. We're talking about a team who came from 1 win, already on the verge of being bowl eligible, and I gotta just, you know, harp on that just for a quick second. You know what I'm saying? These other teams who have monumental high esteem, high hopes every season. I'm talking about Ohio State. I'm talking about Georgia. I'm talking about Michigan. Other teams in the Pac-12, USC, UCLA. We got those guys every season, especially in the Pac-12 right now. We're looking at maybe possibly 2 to 3 different quarterbacks that are in the Heisman Trophy conversation, right? And then you got little old Colorado out there who, due to, of course, the media machine that is Coach Prime, pushing them to a level that they've never thought they were going to be. You just got to give them a little bit of credit. Of course, now this is just me saying it. Hey, if they don't get another 2-3 wins, so what? It's out there that the coaching is good. It's out there that Shador Sanders is a really, really good quarterback, and and that he needs a few things. But if anybody is watching with common sense, all they know is, hey man, especially these young kids who want, and let's just think about it. These young kids who want NIL deals, who want money so that they can help their parents because they might not make it to the league in the first round. If I go to Colorado and I help Shador Sanders win a Pac-12 championship, or well, of course, the conferences are going to be shifting next year. But if I help Shador Sanders win, Coach Prime win, the coaching staff win, I'm going to be doing something, monumental. And that's what I think a lot of these young players are going to be thinking with the college transfer portal next season. Because right now we talked about it not too long ago, Sweat, how, coaches like Nick Saban are having a bit of an issue,
Right.
getting the
Transfer
same
portal.
caliber of players or having the same caliber of players stay multiple years because of the transfer portal. You know what I mean? I think of right now Clemson, who was at the top of the rankings for years and
Yeah,
years.
those definitely the top two teams that probably suffered the most from the transfer portal for sure. And that's
Definitely.
the whole time. That's what I was thinking. I was like, how open it is for players to just get in it. I figured that was gonna happen, but we'll see how they change some rules up and stuff. I'm sure they're gonna do that because they can't afford to have like Alabama doing bad. That's probably like one of their biggest money makers for college football for sure.
I mean, hey man, you got to think about it, man. Between Alabama actually physically winning national championships and Coach Nick Saban standing up there on that podium with a
Yeah.
non-open Coca-Cola bottle every time. Every time now. Think
Well,
about how
that's
much money.
marketing. That's
Right, yeah.
marketing.
Think about how much money is going through their hands when he is not winning as much. You know what I'm saying? I love these Dr. Pepper commercials, but man, they are going crazy with them right now. And you know what I'm saying? When you think about the fact that these young kids now can get in these commercials, I can't lie, I didn't even notice that Shador Sanders was in the KFC commercial with his daddy. Okay, Shiloh Sanders in the
Yeah.
commercial with the
Oh
daddy too.
yeah. Them
Shiloh
Sanders
looked just
eating
like Shiloh looked just like
every
Prime. That is scary. Shiloh
every
is he
Sanders.
not Shiloh is not the one in the limelight, but to me, Shiloh Sanders looked just like Dion as soon as he opened his mouth, all his teeth show.
Yeah.
That is Dion for sure.
The whole
But
family eating.
yeah, it's one of those things where you're going, hey, look, if you thought that Nick Saban had the only way to win, going to Dabo Sweeney, that was the only way to win. Playing at a university like Florida or Pitt was the only way to win. Nope. Going to Notre Dame was the only way to win. Nah,
Right.
this new way of winning is opening up the checkbooks. Play schools like SMU, who somehow found out
Yeah,
a way to
showing
get like
up.
$16
I think
million
they like
$60 million in a week. It's crazy how that happened. So it's opening up a Pandora's box of things. But right now, I just want to stick to where we at with this. If we get any of these teams to lose, who would it probably be? And I'm thinking right now, and this is and Trevor, you brought it up earlier, that Ohio State Michigan game could really mean a lot to what's going on with the rankings. I mean, the whole point of this being the college football playoffs right now,
yeah.
we got to
Another
see. Well, go ahead.
oh no, I was about to say another thing, would they even be in the top four if they lose? Depending on how
Oh,
Washington and
and
Oregon,
see that.
yeah, like maybe they have a big win. I can't remember the rest of their schedule, but maybe they have a big win at the over top that lost at Michigan or Ohio. Probably Ohio State probably got it sealed, but Michigan might be the one if they lose, they might hurt all the stuff going on and stuff. They say they're not going to judge them off of that, but you know how committees go.
I mean, what we got to do is you got to look at stuff like that's going to affect all of that. So what you do is you got to say like Ohio's like next few games. Like let's see Ohio State's next few games. Like and what does their schedule look like, and how tough is it for the rest of 2023? So right now, I'm definitely seeing a few games that you get. Okay, so Rutgers, Michigan State, Minnesota, right, and then Michigan. Okay, so that already
Wow,
looks like
yeah. Now
you can
their
leave them
hardest
all
teams
the way
are
at the top until
their
they play Michigan. You know
right.
what I'm
Their
saying?
hardest teams are them. I don't think that might be the only hard team that they played all season. Like
I
who
mean the
they
whole and just like you mentioned, the hardest team. One of the things that could stop Ohio State is Ohio State. I mean, the connections that they've been putting up, or the numbers that they've been putting up offensively, have been tremendous. We've been seeing Marvin Harrison Jr. run up and down that field. They call him
yeah.
Maserati Marvin. Is
He
what they
might
was
get the
calling him.
Heisman.
Yeah, and I was just about to get to that point. We see Maserati Marvin Harrison Jr. playing excellent football out there, best wide receiver in the nation, of course, and possibly putting them in position to go ahead and get to the college football national championship, maybe. But of course, like I said, that Michigan game is going to be huge for them, especially with Harbaugh having the season he's been having. But
Yeah.
who knows how he got to have that season, especially with the rumors of him and his possible cheating scandal. Then of course, man, hey, straight up and down, man, we can't overlook Florida in this picture. Florida football has always
Florida
been
State.
tough.
Florida.
Florida
You
State
might
football,
get
yeah,
some people
Florida
talking.
State football
Yeah.
has come and gone many times over, and they have once again risen to the heights of being within that top four and possibly going to the college football national
That's a
championship.
good thing. That's a good
Now,
thing for
yeah,
college
of course,
football. We needed that.
anytime you got Florida State football or Florida football, because of course, now that I'm in the state of Florida,
Oh
it's
yeah.
gotta be one of those things where look, everybody's happy just to see what's going on right now with that
Right.
university, I'm sure. And
That's
then
good for the ACC also. Good for the ACC.
listen, and I
Because
was about to say, and then look,
Clemson having their fall off, so
right. I
that's
was just
who
about to
replaced
say, look
them.
at the
Yeah.
ACC and what's happening with their whole division, how they're going to be restructured, or how they're going to be restructuring
Oh yeah.
within the next 2 years. That's going to play a huge factor in what goes on with Florida State, I'm sure. Now, if we look at Florida State schedule, like within the next 2 years, within the next two games, like what are they going to be doing, who they're going to be playing, and whether or not it's going to be worth it to worry about it. We got to go, of course. They got Pittsburgh this coming weekend. We got the U, of course, which is going to be a big game.
That's gonna be a game just off for the history of it.
Right.
It's
Shout
gonna
out to
be
Jay. You know what I'm
that's
saying?
like a that's like an
He's a
NFC
big U
East
fan, big
game in
Miami
the NFL.
fan. Right. Then they got teams. Then they got Northern Alabama, and then they finally close it all out with playing Florida on the 25th. Now, somewhere in
So they got
between,
two games that can boost their ranking up. They got two good matchups. I don't think Ohio State or Ohio State, Georgia, or Michigan really have a game that's going to like solidify how good they are. You know what I'm saying? Unless they play each other.
and you're completely right about this one, because when we think about the college football national championship and the college football national playoffs and the format that they have now, one of the things that plays into it just a bit is strength of schedule. And for me, just like the last two schedules we looked at, Florida State doesn't really have a strong game in there. They playing Pitt, they playing Miami, and I'm not taking anything away from Miami. They're playing Northern Alabama and they're playing Florida. Florida just got waxed just the other day, so I'm not too sure exactly.
Oh, that was in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was in Jacksonville. The town was going crazy. We took the kids out to eat at Olive Garden, and all around Olive Garden was orange and blue. I felt like I was at a Knicks game, but it was definitely for the celebration of everybody having to go to or everybody going from Gainesville to Jacksonville to see exactly what was going on with the Florida Gators, who, unfortunately, that Florida Georgia game means a lot to them, and they took a loss in this one, man. So
Yeah.
look, man, we're gonna keep our eyes on the college football rankings right now. Big shouts out to Coach Joy once again. I know Coach Joy was going to have
Coach
something to
George,
say. I'm surprised we
Macomilly.
didn't hear from him or something, because right now, with them being at number one, I'm sure he have a lot to say. And I'm sure my boy Jay on the MIC, Jay was good, man. I'm sure he would have a lot to say about Ohio State being number one,
Jay on
too,
the
and
MIC.
the conference that they play in. But hey, look, we're gonna keep it moving, man, because you know why?
I don't want them to gain another yard. You blitz all night.
Listen, we're gonna blitz all night. We're gonna keep it moving. So check this out, man. Look, college basketball talk, man. It's really happening. Oh my God. What is this? What do we make of this right here, man? Trevor, what we got with this one right here, bro?
You see it, man. You see the death of Chapel Hill right there, man. The death of Chapel Hill, man. That's all I'm gonna say, man. The death of Chapel Hill, man. I mean, Michael Jordan might start liking Duke after this year. I mean, after this happens, like Michael Jordan might start liking Duke for real. Like Vince Carter might start liking Duke. You know what I'm saying? Rasheed Wallace might start liking Duke. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Man, look. First of all, let's give everybody a little bit of context to what's going on. So, a young man by the name of Cooper Flagg, who just so happens to be one of, if not the best player in the country, highly sought after basketball player from high school, who actually reclassified himself so that he could probably be in the NBA draft just a little bit sooner. Definitely top 5-10 player in the nation. Plays basically and plays all 4 or 5 positions, especially at the college level. Can 3-tier score, and he can shoot, he can dribble, he can pass, he can defend, and has been on the radar of the NBA for a long time. Made a big splash in the college basketball world by fully committing to Duke basketball. Now, my man Jay on MIC is not here right now. Jay, I know he's probably like shaking the phone or screaming right now. He's probably sent me like several exclamation points. Not just because he's excited, but more than likely to just to fuss a little bit. But Jay is my guy. You know what I'm saying? And he is a Tar Heel fan through and through. And of course, right now with the Tar Heels being who they are,
they suck.
The Tar Heels being who they are and what's going on with them, I'm sure that he could have smelled Cooper Flagg going to North Carolina. He could have felt that, sensed it in his blood. But unfortunately, man, for the Tar Heels fans, Cooper Flagg went to Duke. Now, this is a generational basketball player. I don't know if y'all are familiar with what we did in the past 2 years. We went to the Peach Jam down in Augusta, Georgia, right? And about 2 years ago, and even 2 years ago, they were talking about Cooper Flagg coming to the Peach Jam, right?
Right. And we actually
right.
I me personally, I witnessed him. I didn't even know who he was, but just his presence on the court caught my attention and Jay on the mic attention. And we was like, who is this player? Like, we got to figure out who this player is. So Jay did his research and found out, one of the best players in the nation. But he was a year younger the first year that we seen him. But this past year, he was like the person that was being talked about the most, the player that was being talked about the most. So we kind of our eyes caught that early before he was like really being looked at like that. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of grades he got in school. You know what I'm saying? I just know he a smart person because he picked Duke. You feel what I'm saying? I already know he's smart because he picked Duke. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I
My
mean,
bad.
in
My bad. I'm
the
excited, man.
long
I'm
run,
excited, man.
yeah, I'm about to say in the long run, the whole explanation as to why he went and all of that, as you can see, if you don't know that this is a cover of Slam magazine, it
Yeah, I'm
is
definitely getting that
basically in
jersey
there.
too.
And look, it's one of those dope articles you got to go pick up. You got to see about it because I'm sure we're going to be hearing a lot from this young man. And Sweat, man, I mean, you being a Dookie, you know,
Oh,
what's your outlook on this season right now? Now that you know that, hey, we got the commit from the young star Cooper Flag.
oh, it's something to look up to. I'm sure we're still gonna be in the mix before you get there. But once he get there, hey man, death to Chapel Hill, man. I'm gonna keep saying it. Yeah. Death to
Oh
Chapel
man,
Hill, man.
not that Chapel Hill. That's crazy. Oh man,
The real
Jay is
blue,
not
the
here to
true
defend
blue,
himself,
the
but
true
I
blue,
know somewhere in there he is ready to mask up.
And come full force with the smoke.
the
As
true
soon as
blue,
it
man.
happens, college football, college basketball will never be the same since Cooper Flag has
Last
chosen to go play basketball
last
at
good
Duke.
player
I'm
y'all
telling you.
had. I mean, last good player the Chapel Hill people had was Danny Green
Oh man. Oh my
for
goodness.
the NBA.
You taking it there right now, man.
But I ain't gonna
You
take it
taking
there. I
it
ain't
there
gonna
right
take it
now.
there, man.
But
But
look,
man, I was excited when I seen that cover though, man. That's gonna be exciting when he really get to play in Cameron Indoor. It's gonna be a movie every game. But
listen,
we shall see.
you're completely right. Well, look, man, we're gonna keep it moving on this one right here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Cooper Flag doing his thing. I can't wait to, hear more about him, see him actually play, because I definitely missed it last time, but I'm not gonna miss it this time. Speaking of things I don't miss one of the best times of the year when it comes to football, baby. Oh man, it's the NFL talk right about now, man. Let's see what's really going on now. It's been so much in the past week that we haven't got a chance to cover, and we got one of our favorite guys to help us recap week 8 of the NFL season, and we will also cover a few things concerning the NFL trade deadline, one of the best times of the year, depending on what team you're on. So we got one of my favorite guests, always welcome to the show. No matter what he got going on, he always seems to make time for the homies here at Red Room. Trevor, do the thing, man. Click on that screen down there, man. We're gonna give a big shout out to my guy, Bo from Let's Talk Football. Bo, what's going on, my brother? Thank you for coming on
One and
again
only.
and
How's it going, guys?
helping us out with
Chilling, man. Chilling.
what is your wheelhouse, your expertise, my man. I can't believe it. We're here midway through the NFL season. We just skipped a little bit over week 8. Man, tell us
How
what's
is it
hot and
half
what's
over
not
already?
right now. Yeah, right. Tell us
I mean,
what we missed this past week for you.
say it again.
Oh no, I was saying, tell us what we missed this past week for you in week 8.
Man, there a lot went. There was a lot of weird stuff. So, like KC turning the ball over 5 times. Some just some weird outcomes. Not as bad as the week before, where there's a lot of upsets. Definitely a lot more normal football was played. You got to see Will Levis come out and have his debut, have a big day, throw for 4 touchdowns. Obviously, you see Kirk Cousins tearing Achilles. So then you think back to all of those trade rumors where the Jets were potentially looking at Cousins, and imagine how crazy that would have been if they would have brought Cousins in and then he tears his Achilles also. That would have been the most Jets thing to ever happen. So there was a lot going on, but obviously, we're looking at the trade deadline now, and some guys are moving around.
That's right, man. It's definitely one of those times of year where you got to go, okay, who is going where and who needs what. So kind of in the spirit of Halloween right now, we're going to go through pretty much the trades that took place. And of course, if you don't know, the NFL trade deadline happened at, I think, ended at like 3:00 today. And several things happened that I wish my guy Jay was here to talk about right about now. But of course, you know what I'm saying, we're definitely going to bring them up. I got a couple things that pop that fly up real quickly on my radar. And of course, you got to think about you mentioned it with Kirk Cousins going down. Josh Dobbs went from the Cardinals to the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I don't know if you guys know, and Bo's probably really familiar with this one. Josh Dobbs is a freaking rocket scientist on the low. So I think they got him in there not only because he's somewhat athletic, he's got a strong arm, but he's somebody that can get in there and digest that playbook, and I don't want to say he's like he may really just have a whole like Rolodex of plays in his head and he can just recall them like nothing. But Josh Dobbs is definitely one of those guys that you bring in and say, hey, look, I need you to get these 15, 16, 20 plays in. And these are the ones we're going to work with for now. And then we're going to make it expand a little bit more. We got some really big trades coming out of, the Commanders land. I wish Jay was here to talk about these because, of course, these are ones that are going to impact them going towards the future. We got Montez Sweat going to the Bears. I mean, necessarily Montez Sweat going to the Bears is going to help them, but I'm not going to say the Bears aren't in position to do anything because, of course, right now Justin Fields is out, but we can see I could definitely see them helping them on the defensive end because, of course, what you want to do is give the starting quarter. You want to give your new starting quarterback shorter field to work with, and then all of a sudden, you look back up and go, hey, what else happened with the Commanders? They got rid of Chase Daniels. Like, what are they? The second round, not the second round, but the second pick or the overall in the draft. I mean, what do you see going on with the Commanders right now? And I know Jay's watching, so I know he's really interested in your take on this. Like with them giving up defensive player after defensive player, especially guys that they were, highly sought after in the draft. Like, is this just a part of the reformation or the change of regime for the Commanders going forward? And like, how do you see this playing out later on? I guess, years to come, for the draft and draft capital.
Yeah. So, I mean, for the Commanders, they are clearly hitting the reset button. They're, they're going to get rid of their coaching. They're going to move on from everything, right? They got new owners. They have the latitude to just blow the thing up and start over. And it's not like it's a good enough team to worry about it. So the fact that they're blowing people out, I mean, it's not really a big shock. You knew that coaching was going to go. The GM was probably going to go. And with that, you're going to start blowing players out too. So, I mean, the Commanders look like they are in full rebuild mode, which is why they're dumping guys now. And then, of course, with Dobbs going to the Vikings, that one is it makes the most sense of who was available because at this point, they're bad enough that they can really kind of tank for one of the quarterbacks that are going to come out. They're not going to have a number one pick by any means, but, guys like Penix will be available about where their pick would be. So, I mean, I think that's probably more of what they're looking for there. Dobbs gives you a very average stat line, right? And so it'll let them move forward because you got to keep in mind Nick Mullins, their backup, was also injured. So they were looking at next week's game without a quarterback really. And so they kind of had to bring somebody in that, to your point, could digest the playbook relatively quickly, get some of the things out there. So that's kind of where I see that. And then of course the Bears that you mentioned, that one is just a head scratcher because they gave up too much to go get Sweat. And it's not like they were one player away to be good. They were, another like 23 players, and I understand there's only 22 normal starters, and that's why I say they're 23 starters away from being a good team. So, that one didn't make a lot of sense for what they gave up, but it is what it is. It was a very Bears thing to do at this point. It seems like the way they run that organization at this point. I did like the Bills going and picking up Fournette, though. That the running game is just something that they really haven't had consistency at, and Fournette should, in theory, be able to give them some of that. The Niners picking up Chase Young from the Commanders that you mentioned in the beginning there. That one is obviously it's good, right? Like you get to match Chase Young with Bosa, and I mean that's a dangerous commodity, right? But Chase Young also has to try and stay healthy, so we'll see if that's a real thing. But the one move I thought the Niners should have made was get some offensive line help, especially without Debo being in the mix in the near future. It gets some of those quick passes he doesn't have some of the quick outlet passes that he normally does. So those are kind of interesting. I liked the Lions going and getting Donovan Peoples-Jones from the Browns. He's a good slot option for Goff to target. Big bodied guy, runs a nice route. He's definitely not your 1 or 2, but if you put him in the slot, that could be a dangerous target for this Lions team. And then of course the Seahawks, they are really turning the front of this defensive line around. They go and get Leonard Williams from the Giants. And then of course, Frank Clark is coming back. And so, both of those guys on the defensive line changes the way that you can play the Seattle defense.
Man, listen, and you're completely right. Like Seattle being one of those teams out west where, somehow, some way, I think they just slide under the radar. Oh, smack! Look at that. We got Jay on the MIC just popped up.
Hey, here we
What's
go.
going on, Jay?
How's it going, man?
I'm glad you're here. We just got finished talking about your boys, man.
I know. Yo, y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Y'all hear me right? Hey, Bo.
Yeah, you on, man.
I'm gonna ask you, please give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes.
Do your
5
thing, man.
minutes, yo. Trevor, can you do me a favor, sir? You know what I'm about to ask you to do, right?
Give you 5 minutes.
Right. Can you rewind that back to what we was just looking at here? You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Flag here?
Okay.
I got my lucky hoodie on, yo. I got my lucky hoodie on, right? If you're a North Carolina fan, listen to me. You seen one of those messages like Water Worlds or like, you know what I'm saying, like on the Terminator or something like that? You know what I'm saying? Like they're gonna kill us, Skynet. He was warning them about Skynet. You know what I'm saying? Telling you like, yo, it's this thing called Skynet. It's gonna kill you. When John Connor was telling everybody like, yo, look out. It's gonna happen. We gotta do something. We're gonna die. Most of y'all are gonna die, but hey, we gotta still do something. Man, North Carolina fans, listen. I'm sorry I'm late. And I'm sorry to interrupt the show like that. I did not mean to do that. I'm sorry. But in this case right here, when we talking about this guy right here, this dude, I'm glad that he's cut off like that, yo. Thank you, Trevor. I'm glad he's cut off like that. This guy right here, we don't need to see his face, man. That's how they say, no face, no case. Sorry. But hey, Cooper, yo, man, this guy right here, man, is the man. He's the man, yo. I've been watching him since he was what, Trevor, 14?
Yeah.
Like 14 years old, man. And I was like, yo, if we can get this guy to come to Carolina, it was like, yeah, man, he wants to go to Duke. What? He wants to do what?
You saw him on Twitter or something, right? Yeah, he had follow all the Duke stuff, all the Duke
No,
Twitter tweets or something.
no,
X's.
yeah, man. He all on Duke Twitter pages, man. He liking Duke. He love everything. I'm talking about down all the way down the totem pole, Duke. I don't give a see you mention Duke. He likes it. He's a friend. Everybody anybody connected to Duke. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the Duke mascot is, now I'm pretty sure Cooper Flag was following him too. Look, man, I knew it was a wrap. I knew it was a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be, you know, I nicknamed this guy Colonel Flag, man. Somebody had already nicknamed him Colonel Flag, yo. I've seen this guy. We're going to explain it more. We got plenty of time to talk about it, but I'm telling you, you know, North Carolina fans, if you consider yourself a Tar Heel, man, you better do something. We got to like throw in, I got $1. There's plenty of Tar Heel fans around here. We can put together some type of fund. We can buy us a player. We can go overseas or something. We can go do something. We got to do something.
I need to fire
I'm sorry,
all your
y'all.
recruiters. But now let me stop, man. I'm excited.
You could have went to UConn, man. Could have went to UConn. You know what I'm saying? I was hoping, I was praying. Yes, I'm the guy, Mr. Flag, that's been telling you, don't go to Duke. Don't do it. You look great in that UConn. That's me. That's me. Just throwing it out there. But you didn't listen to me. He ain't listen to me. So I'm sorry.
To that too. I woke up to that Slam magazine cover. I was like, nah, it's too early to drop this in the group chat. I can't do it too early. I waited like a couple hours and I dropped it. But hey, you called it though. You called it. You called it.
I've told everybody. I got you, Whit. I got you. I'm sorry, man. I tried to. Yeah, I tried, man. I tried to just come in here. I was running to the like I said. I got on the lucky hoodie. The lucky hoodie, man. Please. Now I'm begging, Mr. Flag. Can you just go do a Kyrie thing, man? Don't get hurt. Just say you want to play 2 games and just go. Please, man. Please. I can gather up some funds with the rest of my Tar Heel fans, my friends, family. I'm telling you, we could put something together. I'm going to put out a GoFundMe. Like, please leave now.
I mean, that's the best part, though. It probably just be there 1 year, but you ain't gotta go through this like for a long time. But you gonna have to go through this.
Yeah, he's definitely not staying. He's definitely not staying long. I'm pretty sure that
he don't need to be there.
That NIL money may keep him.
He doesn't need to be there.
He definitely would have been. They should bring back the high school thing. Like he definitely.
No, he should start him a traveling team, a traveling all-star team with people who just going straight pro. Let them play overseas teams, whatever. Let them play like college teams before the season is over. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Have a nice little showing.
Oh no, we gonna do that. Don't worry about that.
Then you go in the NBA.
We gonna do that. We gonna play before the season over.
Fuck, man.
So you ain't gotta worry about that.
Now
that's already happening.
And that's all I'm saying, man.
Happening.
First Dame, and now this. Now this, yo.
God. Yeah, we didn't. Ooh, we didn't even get to that shit, boy.
Yeah, we ain't get to that. We ain't even get to that. Yeah, first Dame, and now this. And then I'm done. I'm done now. I'm done. I'll be back. I'm done. Yeah. Now we about to talk about the rest of my effed up life right now, man.
You got a lot going on in sports right now.
A lot going on. All right, that's my 5 minutes, man. My 5 minutes is up. Now talk about how the rest of my life is just messed up. Now we're gonna move on to another reason why my sports life is just effed up. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry to do that. You know what I'm saying? I just heard somebody say something about flag.
I was waiting on you, bro. I was like, yo,
Man, your
I
GoFundMe
knew
would have to
you
be
was
huge
coming,
to
bro. I
combat
was like,
NIL.
dang, they didn't talk about the Braves. They didn't get to talk about the Braves either.
Oh, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, yeah.
I heard it. I heard it. I had some, you know what I'm saying? I was just taking care of some things and I heard it. And I was like, Dad, it's a great day to be out of this conversation, man. But you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, when I got the flag, I said, look, I was like, damn it. They talking about football. How long it is? That's why I said, yo, just give me 5 minutes, yo. I'm done. I'm about to cut out and I'll be back in a second, y'all. I will be back in a second. I'm not talking about in a second. I put on my lucky hoodie just so I can. This is like my sacrifice right now. This is my sacrifice to my sports life right now. I put on the lucky hoodie. It's my first ever rec room attire ever.
Hey, so the bat is for the Braves, the football is for the Commanders, and the basketball for the Tigers.
I mean, man.
Oh man, he's got all the sports on that. I didn't say it, man. Sweat did. Okay, Sweat did. I'm not on that one. Nope, I didn't think of that one.
It's all good. It's all good. It's all good,
man. Look, so see, Trevor. Sometimes you don't have to dig a man's. You don't have to have a shovel for the man's grave. You don't got to mess it up.
It's all good.
This is crazy.
Now,
yeah. Listen,
I'm gonna cut out. I'm gonna catch y'all guys. I'm gonna cut out.
Look, we got.
Stay.
No, I'm staying, but I gotta cut out.
We're gonna talk. Oh, okay, we're gonna talk about.
Hey, bro.
We're gonna talk about other things.
Yeah, I'm here. I just gotta cut out, man. I'm. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm not gonna do it, man. I'll cut that for later. Let's just go on, man. Let's just go on.
All right, Jay.
We
know it's a lot going on. We know it's a lot going on right now. You come back when you get ready, bro. Come back when you get ready.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna keep it moving. That was, and for everybody who knows what's going on, that was my guy Jay on the MIC. He will be back to talk some more football with us. Now back to both. Thanks both for being patient. Jay had to get that off. He was waiting all week to talk about that. Okay.
He's going through.
So
it.
yeah,
I get it.
all right. It's hard to get through. It was hard to get through. So we're gonna jump right in. We got the tailor-made loss.
Yes.
Chiefs Broncos, right? Like somehow, some way, when I think about trap games and I'm looking at spreads and looking at point differential and stuff, I looked at this game and said, boy, this looked like a trap. Man, tell me what you think really took place with this one. Was this the Broncos winning this game because they did score 24 points, or was this really the Chiefs losing this one?
Man, they didn't score 24 points. Wilson had 3 touchdowns with 100 yards. That's not scoring points. That's you're getting the ball in enemy territory the whole time. So they were able to capitalize on turnovers, but they had 5 of them, right? Like it was what, three interceptions and 2 fumbles. I mean, they were just giving the ball away. A good team, this would have been a way worse score than it is. So yeah, I mean, it was a game where KC just absolutely fell apart. I did really appreciate the fact that the Broncos were there for it and ready to just troll like nothing else. So they were playing Shake It Off as they were exiting the building.
Oh yeah, they was killing Taylor Swift, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like that was pro level trolling right there. So wasn't mad at it. I mean, the thing that's funny is KC hasn't really looked amazing in a lot of their games anyway. Like they found ways to win, but they haven't looked like the KC that you are used to seeing. It's similar to the Eagles, honestly, especially early, right? Early in the year, the Eagles didn't look sharp. They found ways to win, but they didn't look particularly great. So this is a game that, it's divisional. Those are always a challenge. And no, it wasn't the Broncos winning. That was KC just absolutely melting down.
Oh man, okay. See, we on the same plane about that one because I definitely was looking. I definitely was not in the house at the time, but I was looking at my phone, and I was like, ESPN, the app is tripping. It's 24-9. There's no way that just happened. But like I said previously, man, I definitely thought that that was one of those mistakes. But shout out to Russell Wilson, man. I mean, he's got to be somewhere. Now, I know we were talking a little bit about the trades and the possibility of there being some trades. Like, in your mind, was Kansas City one of those teams that possibly could have got anybody, so to speak? I mean, Donovan Peoples-Jones was apparently available if for the right price. Like, do you think Kansas City should have maybe tried to pick up? Not, and I'm not. Let me clarify this for people who may, see this one day or something like that. I'm not saying that they don't have wide receivers. I'm saying that they have wide receivers that at one point in time were really good, but are currently dropping the ball at a ridiculous rate. So, in a nutshell, man, do you think maybe the Chiefs should have been buyers this trade deadline?
No, because the receiver that they need wasn't available. So having another, Peoples-Jones type of receiver, they don't need that. They need a guy that can stretch the field and create some mismatches throughout the defense. And I mean, they have guys that can do what Peoples-Jones does. And so I don't think picking him up, I mean, you got to have guys catch the ball, right? But drops are funny. Like if you're dropping the ball now, you're not going to drop the ball forever, right? So those are things that you have to imagine their existing receiving core will work through. But yeah, adding a guy like Peoples-Jones wouldn't have added what they needed. Whereas where he goes to the Lions, it actually is a decent fit for what they do. So I don't know if he would have been a good fit there, but I didn't see anybody that just had that take the top off of defense speed that they could have used.
All right, I feel you on that one. And look, man, it's one of those situations where on the compromise, on the offside, on the other side of the football, there was a lot of speculation for the Broncos and what they were possibly going to do and who they might move. And I'm personally one of those. I'm not a huge Russell Wilson fan, but I'm one of those people that go like, man, it's got to be some synergy between Russell Wilson and whoever's going to be especially his go-to target. And I thought they might have tried to trade Jerry Jeudy, but apparently not this time.
They wanted too much.
Yeah, probably. I saw some reports between the Athletic and NFL.com, of course, that like they would have given Jerry Jeudy away, but for what they were being offered for him, it was they didn't go for it. And of course, Steve Smith said it. If a team calls me and asks me, should I trade for Jerry Jeudy? Yeah, I would tell him no, because he's just an average guy and he can't take constructive criticism. And and Steve Smith says that what Steve Smith Sr. says, that's law. Moving on. Let's go into the next one on that we got on the docket. I think is Jay back? Jay coming back? I don't know if Jay's coming back yet. But, let's move on to the next one on the docket. We got the San Francisco trick. You
made him take off his hoodie.
my computer was being slow, so I saw him down there. I didn't know he took the hoodie off. Now he's comfortable. He's ready for the conversation. He's ready for it. Okay. So we got the San Francisco trick. Once again, this is another example of, did the 49ers win? Did the 49ers lose this game, or did the Bengals win this game? You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a combination of the two, because there were things that kept the Niners from playing their game, but then the Bengals have really turned it on as the year has gone on, right? I mean, the beginning of the year was atrocious. And then over the last few weeks, they've really started to come together. And, they sneak by the Hawks. They beat up on the Cardinals. They come in and had a day with the Niners. But the Niners really need Debo in that lineup. And so they're feeling that. It's actually why I mentioned before that I really thought they would go get an offensive lineman or something to help, because they just don't have that outlet receiver. Ayuk is great, but he doesn't add some of that dynamic that Debo does. So I think some of it is the Niners just aren't whole, but you got to win. You got to win anyway, right? Everybody has injuries, and everybody's going to all year. So you got to still try and win those games. And in that way, the Bengals win the game. If it was a fully loaded, healthy Niners team, I don't know if that's still true.
Now, this is one of those ones where I look back at it and I said to myself, hey, look at that guy. He's playing great. And when I say he's playing great, I'm talking about, my guy, Broadway Joe. This was one of those ones where, of course, when we look at the box score, it's going to tell you a lot of information. Joe Burrow went 28 for 32, 283, 3 touchdowns. I think his cap is okay. I mean, in my opinion. And, one of the things that somehow, some way get lost by the wayside when you think about the weapons that Cincinnati has, you got Jamar Chase, you got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, the list goes on and on. But somehow, some way, Joe Mixon woke up and realized, I'm home. I'm in front of a crowd. And they kept mentioning how he's from the area. He brought a busload of people with him. Joe Mixon woke up in this game and realized, hey, look, I'm a top tier running back in the NFL as well. With this type of playing, with this type of momentum, like we talked about with baseball, with this type of momentum going in, to midway through the season, are we seeing a resurgence from the Bengals? Because of course they did start a little slow.
Yeah. I mean, I like everything I'm seeing out of them. You do want to see more on the defensive side of the ball, but I mean, the offense is no joke. The offense is playing lights out. But like anything else, momentum wise, you also don't want to hit your peak mid-season, right? So you want to be able to kind of keep building, because if you're hitting your peak now, then you'll fall apart at the end. But yeah, I like that they've been kind of steadily growing week in, week out. And that's really encouraging. Plus, it's the only way they're going to be able to keep pace with the Ravens. So, I mean, they have to keep winning.
Definitely. I mean, truly and honestly, we'll probably get into that later on into the season. But, you made a great point. The Ravens are playing some of the best football in the NFL right now. And as a Steeler fan, every time I look at my division, I cringe because we're looking at some really good teams right now from my standpoint. But I could be worse. I could be in the NFC East like the Dallas Cowboys are, and the Dallas Cowboys just so happened to play the Rams week 8. And they put up some numbers. I mean, with Cowboy up as we see in the banner. What happened? Is this another one of those moments where we're going, man? Look at the Cowboys. Look at Dak Prescott. It's like the shiny thing, like that the magician puts in front of you. Like, look over here. My hand is here, but the trick is. I'm waiting on the trick to happen in the background somewhere with the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm just going to kick off some stuff that caught my eye real fast. So, recapping it, of course, Dak Prescott's doing his thing. I'm happy for him. I'm never one of those guys that hate Dak Prescott. But then you look at Matthew Stafford, 13 of 22, 162 yards. That's really not Matt Stafford like. What went on with this one here?
Well, I mean, he has an injured thumb on his throwing hand, so he wasn't exactly going to be top shape. So, I mean, it's tough to throw the ball if you have a hurt thumb. The other end is, you said it right there. It's the Cowboys trick. Talk to me in December when they go 1-3.
Hopefully.
So I mean, I don't trust the Cowboys, and it's not because I don't think this team can win. I think it's because we've seen them play in December for 25 years, and they're not good at it. So I'm going to go with the jury is out on Dallas until they prove that they can play outside of August, September, October.
Definitely. I mean,
But as far as the Rams, it's something that I've said all season.
Look, you said it. You said the right words. Like it's literally.
What's that?
Oh, go.
Wait, I don't know. What, yeah, wait,
I was just going to say you took the words out of my mouth talking about December.
Oh yeah, no, and one of the things I said all year about the Rams is because they had to get rid of so much talent, they're going to go as far as their main starters will take them. As soon as people start getting hurt, that team's done. So, and by their main starters, I mean Donald, I should say, Cup, and Stafford. As soon as any of those guys go down, it's a wrap. Like they don't have anything as far as depth. So if Stafford goes down, I mean, there's nothing behind him, right? So, especially because Stetson Bennett ended up having, drinking problems, ended up leaving the NFL. I thought it was a good pickup for him because he plays very similar to Stafford. And, unfortunately, they wasted a pick on him.
Oh, damn. I didn't even know that. I thought I was about to ask what happened to Stetson Bennett. Never mind.
Yep.
Man. Okay. I didn't know that. As much as, I did not know that.
Yeah,
I remember the last time I saw him, he scored a touchdown in the preseason, and I just stopped paying attention. Whoops. Damn.
Yeah, unfortunately, he found his way out of the league real quick.
Damn, Stetson. With a name like Stetson, you can't do stuff like that, man.
I mean, technically he was like 35, so I mean he can have a beer all he wants,
I mean, he doesn't have to pay for any beers in Athens, Georgia either. So
no,
I mean
definitely.
that might help, not help the situation very much. With the Rams also, but I'm still surprised based, how they put together some sort of offense. I mean, they still need some pieces, but just like you said, we're talking about if they lose, a couple, maybe 3 people, their season is over. And you're talking about, I don't know, I still like what they put together with Tutu Atwell and Puka Nacua. And
Puka's
even
nice.
finding somebody like Kyron Williams, which unfortunately is going to be on the mend for probably another game or 2. But I'm still surprised by what they put together in that division, because if they were anything worse than expected, or what was expected or worse, we were talking about pretty much possibly a 2-team division between the Seahawks and the obvious,
Yeah, the Niners. Yeah.
right. But
Well, I mean,
a lot going on.
I thought the Rams were going to be a 7-8 win team. Like that's where I thought they would be this year, because they had decent pieces, but they weren't going to beat the better teams. Like they'd be able to beat bad teams and okay teams, right? But they weren't going to beat the Cowboys. They weren't going to beat the Eagles. They'd probably get smacked twice by the Niners. They'd probably split with the Seahawks. That's kind of the season I had envisioned for this Rams team. And that was, provided everybody stays healthy. So, hey, sup, Tino? So, now if Stafford goes down, then it's going to be real hard for them to win games moving forward.
Yeah, and then also one thing that gets me about the Cowboys, they definitely picked a good game. I mean, Stafford, he's definitely limited as far as mobility.
Mhm.
He's pretty much handicapped as far as what that defense is used to coming into this game. I still expected them to put up a little bit more than 20 points. Not even the 20 points really bothers me. It's the fact that they couldn't get anything going. I
Yep.
mean, it's kind of like these offensive lines. They spoke a lot about these offensive lines like seasons previous to this, like this offensive line. That and losing Whitworth is one thing, but offensive lines aren't really prepared as they say they've been in the past previous years. I mean, it's showing now, definitely showing.
Yep.
But they can just protect him. They can squeeze out a couple more wins. As far as 7 wins, I think they can do it. I think they can really do it somehow.
As long as they can keep Stafford upright, yeah. I mean, that's the biggest thing is they need him to be able to stay healthy. If he ends up getting hurt, then they don't have anybody, right? Like it's not
Right.
like they have a high functioning backup quarterback. I mean, they got a guy, and that's not going to win a lot of games, especially with a lot of divisional games coming up.
Mm, yeah. And one last thing about the Cowboys, going into the Eagles, game, that is definitely a game that to build your confidence on. You know what I mean? And especially with the way Dak was talking in his press conferences, it's not saying it's off of this Rams game, but he was speaking pretty confident, knowing that he's going into this Eagles game, and it's not going to be as easy. Even though you're talking about like Sam Darnold going into now. I mean not Sam Darnold. God, dog, I did Sam. Oh God, shoot, Aaron Donald. I don't know why I
Yep.
say Sam Darnold, but yeah, that I was still surprised by this blowout. I'm not even gonna lie. I was pretty
Yeah.
surprised by this blowout still.
So the thing that's funny is I'm waiting for the Cowboys to beat someone that isn't an under 500 team. So, have a good win. And then I can start to feel confident in this Cowboys team. Now I understand you have to beat the teams that are in front of you. Fair enough. But like, I want to see you beat someone that's good.
Right. You got a point. You definitely got a point on that. I mean, I just feel the teams that they face have shown their different had their different dangers, so to say. You know what I'm saying? They had like I'm sorry, but I just feel I guess maybe it was for fantasy purposes. I guess that's why I'm so disappointed. But yeah, that
All right.
and I expected a little bit more. At least Puka Nakua to get more than 5 points for me. That sucked. But going into something where I think sucks as well. We're gonna go with somebody who likes to put mayonnaise in his coffee.
Can
And I
we
had
just
to
say
make
that
sure-
shit is
Oh, hey,
gross?
real quick, you guys. Alan gave us the update. It's 11-7, the final.
Sweet. Rangers get the dub.
Alan, what's up, man? I'm sorry. Sorry I couldn't make it, but congratulations. Somewhat. Because I heard a lot
he's
of
going to
Braves
go to
talk.
sleep because he's got to get up at 5 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I heard that part. I was trying to jump in on the Braves talk, but I couldn't do it. But anyway, Alan, congrats. I hope they win. Whatever, man. That's another series of frustration. But okay, but Mr. Mayo himself, man, Will Levis, yo. Like, look at him, man. I told y'all. Remember we had these conversations going into, earlier
We did.
episodes and leading in, what can we say, events leading up to these moments right here. First, we had the idiot GM that I swear it was like some type of public beheading when they send you to Philly to go watch the game after you trade AJ Brown. Nah, you gonna go watch this. You gonna go watch this. Nah, you gonna go watch this. And then they gonna fire him the next day. That sucks. You know what I'm saying? He made his bed, I'm laying it. But going from that to now you end up giving up a pretty big piece of your defense to the same team for a little bit of what? A guy that they drafted recently, some picks. I mean, they got a pretty much Pro Bowler, a perennial Pro Bowler, for some afterthoughts. And then now you go into what they at now. You pick up Malik Willis, and you had Tannehill. They asked Tannehill, "Yo, what you gonna be doing?" He was like, "What am I supposed? What am I gonna do? What do you think I'm gonna be doing? I'm going to work. I'm not teaching them nothing." Which is pretty common when you go into the veteran quarterback possibly losing his job to the young draft pick, and they drafted him pretty, he if he was able to process what was going on and he was played under bigger stages or on bigger stages under bigger lights, lights being brighter, so to say, I think he would have been ready for this, but he pretty much got walked out of the job, and Will Levis gets there, and now we have this. But I think Will Levis, look at him. Look at him. Like, look at that, man. That dude looks like somebody who's gonna gun it downfield. Even Aaron Rodgers, man, on that back foot throw that he did rolling, I guess it was like across the field. I mean, he just flicked it into the end zone. Even Aaron Rodgers was like, "Yo, man, look at this pass. Like, wait, hold up, y'all. Look at what he's doing. Do you see what he's doing? He threw off his back foot. He's just scanning the field. He just flicks it off his wrist the way Aaron Rodgers explains it. You understand what I'm saying?" And he was like, "Man, nah, that's a big time throw. I'm sorry." And it's like almost to the point where he was like, "Yo, even I could make throws like that. Like only I could make throws like that."
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Will Levis, he's the man to me.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great debut game for sure.
We'll see.
Now what'll be interesting is when we start seeing teams that have tape on him. That'll be where we really see what kind of football player he is. Can he adjust his game? It's the same as when you have any other backup quarterback. They're usually pretty good the first game because nobody knows, especially if they come in late. Nobody has time to review film. They practice for someone else. In this case, they knew that Tannehill wasn't going to start, so they knew it was going to be him, but they didn't know who to practice for because it was supposed to be a split workload. But yeah, let's, before we call him, the next best thing, let's see a few games. Let's see what it looks like when defenses are able to scheme against him. But that being said, he had a hell of a debut. 4 touchdowns. I mean, you can't argue with that.
And I want to jump in here because I gotta give a shout out to a friend of the show, my guy, Mr. First Down, Sam. Sam and I have been going back and forth on Twitter previously before this week, and we were trying to predict when they were going to put in Will Levis, and I think Sam got it right. I don't think he thought it was because of injury. I think it was just because I think he pretty much said that it was just going to be because the offense wasn't performing very well. But I think Sam pretty much got it right. And just like you mentioned, man, 4 touchdowns. I want to just throw in there, and this is also for fantasy purposes. I don't have this player, but we woke up DeAndre Hopkins some kind of way.
Yes.
I don't know what it was. I don't know what was in his coffee. Maybe it was mayonnaise. I don't know. But literally, DeAndre Hopkins out here in the streets looking like the DeAndre of old. And literally, if it was any other time for him to do it, this was a great one. 4 receptions, 128 yards, 3 of the 4 touchdowns. I mean, if you're going to be a rookie quarterback and you're going to be throwing the ball, you got to put it in the hands of not only the best wide receiver that you have, but the best playmaker on the field that to a degree probably hasn't been used as well because, Tannehill's expertise isn't going down the field on that one. So with that being said, I'm going to throw it back to you guys and let's get back to the analysis as far as that's concerned.
I just think he, at say like in preseason, I felt like he did look like a deer in headlights a little bit, but he didn't look like that guy was like, what's going on? I'm not ready for this. He was more that guy like, yo, I'm the guy like that I can beat this. Right? I'm usually beating guys like this. They're right. It is fast out here. I can make this throw. This dude is too fast. That's all it is. I can make this throw. It wasn't like a guy like, what's going on? I don't know where to throw it. I don't know what's going on. These guys coming. If he was processing it fine, it just wasn't going right for him when he was like, how people say, the bully on the block. He's like, I usually hit people. I don't get hit. And I think that's kind of his mentality towards it. I think going into it now, that's a different. He's not. That's not the same guy. That's not the same guy. I not gonna blow him up and say because Bo, I'm big on film. I always tell the other guys and people that I know, when they go out and have anybody goes out and have a good game, man, wait till that film drops.
Yep.
Wait till that film drops. When that film drops, right? Mm-hmm. Wait till that film drops.
No, I mean, that's always why I say, when you got a rookie, right? They come out and ball out. They've been sitting behind someone. They've been able to kind of get up to speed a little bit, but let the league get tape on you. Then let's see how your game evolves. Right?
Yeah, I was big on that with RG3. And his first, season or so, I was like, yeah, man, everybody was like, oh, he's gonna do it. I was like, nah. This second season will be pretty big right here because now, just like they say, the great ones adjust. The great ones adjust to when they have film on you. They know what you're going to do on this play. They know what you're going to do on that down. They know what they're going to do when trip left or whatever's going on. The great ones adjust. Joe Burrow, I mean, he's out there adjusting freaking every second of the day. He's adjusting. He's Joe Burrow. But that's what it's about. The great ones adjust. And when those guys are coming and you're not able to quite read, going back to preseason, how can you process it from there on when you're actually losing a game instead of, going against the Falcons, which I don't care who they put back in the defensive backfield, you can go for 200. One man can go for 200 on these guys. But, who am I to talk? I'm a Commanders fan. I'm done.
Well, I mean, to your point on RG3, I mean, my Seahawks who showed you that he wasn't going to adjust, and he ended up getting hurt because they knew he was going to run, and they just teed off and blew him up all game. So yeah, I mean, it's and that's true with any of them, right? That's what separates a career backup from a starter is whether or not they can make that jump. Can you adjust to the speed? Can you figure out how to? If you can, you can be a starter. If you can't, you're Case Keenum. You're going to be a career backup. Like you'll have moments, but that's it. Now I don't think Will Levis is that guy. I think he can be a good starter, but we just don't know yet. We don't have enough tape.
Look at that picture though, Bo.
Oh, dude's yoked. There's no doubt.
Man. I ain't gonna lie, man. Speaking of which, I was telling somebody like Max Crosby last night. He's gonna get drug tested after this game.
100%.
Yeah. Then that's that look.
It's gonna be a random.
Yeah, right. That's the look I'm getting right now. All right, but also, man, for the Falcons, and big shout out to Sam as well. For Art Smith to be playing his former team, I know he wanted this one. That's why, I don't know if that has something to do with Ritter. I know Ritter, got the snot knocked out of him, and he they had to put their fingers up for him. It just looked like I saw that shot where he walked over to the bench. He was like, "Yeah, I'm taking you out. Yep, taking you out. Yep." Just letting you know, went right back to the sideline and kept coaching. And for the Falcons, I just really feel like I said they're working on something. It's just not with Ritter, like we talked about before. It's just not with Ritter. It's not going to be with Ritter.
Yeah, no, Ritter doesn't seem like he's the answer. Like they'd be better off with Heineke at this point. But I mean, they could really benefit from. It's actually a location before Cousins got hurt that I thought if there was a team that Cousins could actually immediately help, it was the Falcons.
Yeah. Now you can't help anybody. So much for that.
True.
Yeah. Well, but it's gonna work out for him. It's definitely gonna work out for him. Speaking about it working out for somebody with, we can both kind of say as fellow native New Yorkers, this is a pretty big game, so to say, around the five borough, the tri-state area. To some, even people in Philly could be Jets fans and Giants fans. So
For sure.
I hate to say it, I don't want to put too much stock into this game because for the Jets, they are playing for something. The Giants, on the other hand, they're playing for something as well. They're playing for money. But the Jets, on the other hand,
this game was trash. Let's just call it what it was.
It was a good trash game, yo. It was the greatest, trashiest game I've ever seen in my life. Definitely.
If anybody knows anything about that area, when you go and visit, if you're ever driving up 95 and you can see the stadium, like that area, that's not where you want to go play football at, bro. In the rain, that horrible weather, but when normally
that's real football, man.
Bo, you know a little bit about this. Yeah, I was about to say that's when the best defenses show up, and to a degree, the best defense showed up in the form of the Jets in uniform, once again showing us that it doesn't really matter who they play. They are going to throw off the quarterback's timing, and B, somehow, some way cause turnovers. How do you see this playing out? Like, it's playing out before our eyes that they're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, possibly. Like, could this be one of those teams where, like, maybe you could compare them to, like, that old Ravens team, and it was all defense and no offense at all, kind of sort of? Like, is that possible, maybe?
No, because as much as people don't love Trent Dilfer, he didn't turn the ball over. Like, he was careful with the football. He was a good game managing quarterback. Zach Wilson ain't that dude.
I like that one.
Yeah, like, it's the nicest way I could say it. He just doesn't. He will put the ball in harm's way. He'll make bad decisions. That's something that Trent Dilfer didn't do. Like, there was a lot of things Trent Dilfer wasn't, but he was very careful and smart with the football generally. So especially that season. But yeah, unfortunately for Jets fans, they are going to come up just short. There's just too many other good teams in the AFC.
And look, true. And when you say that, just short is where I think Jay and I kind of have them lying and wait. And somewhere in there, we have a mutual friend who's a Jets fan, and he may or may not be watching. He might watch the recording. I'm constantly seeing, and all right. So in comparison, when you watch a Chiefs game, what are you looking at the Chiefs game for? Images of Taylor Swift in boxes. I'm watching the Jets game to see Aaron Smith. I mean, not Aaron Smith.
Nobody trying to see that. I'm trying to watch
our guy. Right. But they showing Taylor Swift. All right. I'm watching Aaron Rodgers do the 2-step on the sideline, take a 2-3 step drop and throw that football. Somewhere in there is like, and I know this is pushing it. This is Jay knows it too. This is pushing the limits of medicine, miracles, some other words that start with M. But like, is it possible that they could hold on just long enough for Aaron Rodgers to be a factor in at the tail end of the season, and maybe not even into the playoffs, but just show up and win a game, give New York Giants fans hope into next season? Because as we can all see, Aaron Rodgers is not retiring after the season. Is there any way that we think that January comes, he plays 2 games, he plays 2 half, he could play like 15 minutes, just get out there and play like some third downs? Is that a possibility with what we've been seeing from Aaron on the sidelines lately, and hearing him talk on Pat McAfee? I'm sorry.
I mean, anything's possible, right? I mean, he's so much further ahead than we've ever seen anybody be. So I wouldn't rule out the possibility that it comes and gets a couple of snaps. I don't think he'll play games, or at least meaningful minutes even. But does he come in and, I don't know, run a drive the last game of the season or something like that? Yeah, maybe. I could see something like that. They're not going to really be in the playoff hunt, so I don't know that they want to trot him out there and potentially injure him again by getting him out early on a season that isn't going to go anywhere.
That would suck, yo.
That would be very Jets-like.
It would be. Like, that would be the most Jets thing ever, is to send him out there and smoke the thing again.
Denied. Right. And he takes 2 steps and falls over.
Yeah, like I don't see him doing it. Like, there'd have to be so many sign-offs on doctors for him to actually be able to do that. And then even still, like I said before, like, the team's not going to be there in a spot where they're going to go on. So does he come out and play a couple of drives if he can? Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? But otherwise, yeah, I mean, this season's not going anywhere.
Gotcha. Hey, so next coming up, another big game we got on the docket. And for Jay and I, this is the one I know we were keeping our eyes on. Of course, we just going to say Adams horror, right? Because we saw a mental breakdown, and in all honesty, I always thought Devontae Adams was like one of the most cool, collected, calm players I've never really in Green Bay. I've seen Green Bay have some tough losses, and it's not been his fault. It's been defense's fault. Somebody else. Like, when you're looking at what's going on in Vegas, and we're gonna get to the Lions, because the Lions is a really good segue. But when you see what's going on in Vegas, then you look at the head coach, then you look at the quarterback. Like, is there anything that they can do right at all, or is it just fire McDaniels, get Garoppolo out of there, start from scratch?
That's what they can do right. That's exactly what they can do right. They can fire McDaniels and hope for the best. It's unfortunate because they move on from Carr, right? Like, they were hell bent on moving him out, and then they're like, we're going to go get Jimmy G. I'm like, how is that better? And this is exactly why Adams was so mad during that game. Is he had a couple of, like, he could have had 4 catches for 170 yards and 3 tugs if he could actually hit a target down the field, but Jimmy G overthrew him on 3 deep balls, right? I mean, Adams could have had an amazing day. Instead, he had 1 reception for nothing. So I definitely understand his frustration, because he was going there. He thought he was going to play football with his buddy. And, the 1 year that they were together, he has the best statistical career of his, game or season of his career. And then immediately they kick Carr out of the room, and you're just like, are you guys just trying to lose? And then, to add insult to injury, before the trade deadline, Devontae Adams is like, hey, what do you guys think of me getting some different scenery? And they told him, no, they're not going to move him. And, and then they come out and they play this game where they get smoked and he was wide open and could have had a huge day. So I definitely get why he's mad.
Free Devontae Adams, man.
Pretty much.
And look, it was crazy to see. And just like you mentioned, like I know there was at least two plays where I'm screaming at the TV going, look at him, like look. Yep. And the ball sailed over his head. So
and
but
it's
hey,
not like
on the offset, go ahead.
Oh no, I was like, it's not like it was just like it was off the fingertips, like it was just off, right? Like it was 5 yards ahead of him. It reminded me a lot of the Super Bowl that the Niners are still mad about.
You trying to say Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball?
Wow. Definitely. And look, I went the weather that if everybody knows, if you do your research, do your history, Niners had a horrible loss that year. So look, when we're talking about like the other side of the football, like everybody goes Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Nah, just Lions, bro. Just literally just Lions right now. To me, Jahmyr Gibbs.
The Tigers are all right.
Everybody
the Bengals are doing work.
We were right. Yeah. Okay. Tigers. Yeah. The Tigers are okay. Lions. I think we were all on the draft show, and we were going. They're drafting a running back in the first round. I remember it was a lot of no. Remember, it was a lot of Texans fans on that draft. I think somehow, some way that this is working out in the Lions' favor because it's taking some of that pressure off of Jared Goff, who's doing a great job, in my opinion, of being a quarterback. And then also we got a fourth round pick, Amon-Ra St. Brown, showing everybody that it's not about where you pick, but how you put in the work when you get there. Is it just like the Lions' continuity happen? This is another one. Is it happening at the right time, or is this something we should have thought of? Like this should be normal because it's not like Jared Goff's a slouch. It's not like Sam Laporta wasn't good from the get go. You know what I'm saying? Like, is this something that's happening right now? Because we should start considering the Lions to be above average or at least average from now on because we're so used to them being so horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you are. It really starts with Dan Campbell and the culture that he's building, right? So he gets his guys to really buy in, and he gets his team to rally even when they're down bad. It's not one of those teams where they get behind and they give up. Like they fight. It's one of the things that I really liked about Arizona all year is they are a terrible team, but they fight every game. And it's something that Dan Campbell really started cultivating there. So even when they started last season and they were like 1-6 or something like that. I mean, they started the year so horribly, but you were like, I'm not a Lions fan, but you were kind of rooting for Dan Campbell to like get this thing going because he's such a likable guy and he's building something that you're like, oh, I like what this looks like. And, so now you're seeing this team that really is coming together and becoming the culture that he was building. And so, I mean, you're seeing guys playing above where you probably would see them on other teams because they are probably one of the more complete teams as a unit than anyone in the league.
And when you say complete teams, we got to definitely talk about the way that their defense has been playing lately. Their defensive line's been playing like their hair's on fire. Mm-hmm. Their linebackers are out there creating problems, creating matchup issues. And of course, if you look down on if you look down at the box score, I mean, there are several guys down here that you go, well, wow, what happened? Okay, you got Anzalone, you know what I'm saying, always showing up, 5 solo tackles. Tracy Walker, 3 solo tackles. McNeil, Kirby Joseph. I mean, the list goes on and on. So it's not just like it's one person. And then of course,
in fact, if you look
the big draft pick. Go ahead.
You know, if you're looking at your stats there, Hutchinson, I think, is leading the league in quarterback pressures.
Right.
Mhm.
And
That's
yeah,
correct.
Hutchinson is definitely where I was headed with the conversation. I mean, the same scenario. That draft conversation was more like, Aiden Hutchinson or the rest. Like, should we pick him up? Is that should we draft him that high? I think he's actually been one of the better stories of the Lions season. You know what I mean? And once again, even though he might not, I think he's, like you said, he's up there, if not first in quarterback hurries and pressures. He's definitely around the quarterback on a more consistent basis than others. I'm looking at the Lions right now, and I'm saying they're changing the narrative with not only the head coach but the play of their defense. Is this something that you think they can? Is this like one of those defenses and offensive situations that you can see maybe going on the road and maybe having to win the playoff game?
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll have I think they'll have a home game, right? They're going to win their division.
I mean,
So,
if they have, I'm just if it falls apart, could they have a chance to win and if they had to play it, which of course they won't.
without a doubt, they're a good enough team to do it. It's just whether or not they fall apart under the pressure, because it's a team that hasn't enjoyed success, and so a lot of this team is very young. So it's one of the best things about the Lions, right? Is what they're doing this year. They're going to be able to keep a lot of those pieces intact going into next year. Do I think they win their first playoff game? I do. I think they win their first home playoff game and, forever. Now, when they get to the divisional round, I think that's probably where that ends. But, that's, that's yet to be seen. But I think they can win. I think they can win a playoff game, and they probably leave in the divisional round.
I wish
I think we got like maybe one more we got to jump into, right, Jay?
Yeah, man. Pretty much the duel of the rooks, which was CJ Stroud and good old. Honestly, Bryce Young, I really feel someone who they felt was more prepared, more ready for the moment, going into the draft and the days, even leading after the draft, and then the size became a thing. They started saying, "Damn, he's you can't even see him behind the offensive line," and he didn't. They kind of started piling up against him once he got there on the field.
I mean, he did get hurt twice already.
Right. But CJ Stroud was the guy who it was like, yo, this even going into the preseason, no one knew that he would hit a stride starting the season like he did. He looks definitely more well prepared. I'm not knocking on Bryce Young, but I think it's neck and neck. It's just they have two different systems. The system is probably more friendly. The offense is probably more friendly for CJ Stroud, more quarterback friendly. Bryce Young, on the other hand, he's gonna have to depend on a little bit more veteran paralysis, so to say. With you got Adam Thielen trying to, he's making it work, and then he's depending on what he's depending on. He got some young guys as well in the backfield, but I think he still has more of a system to work with. CJ Stroud has more of a system and talent. I think that's to me. But that was a pretty good duel between them, for sure.
Yeah, I thought CJ was going to win that battle, just because I don't like the Panthers' offensive line very much.
Likewise.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he's getting hurt, right?
Right.
Obviously, he's not a huge guy, right? So, I mean, it's not like what they were saying was inaccurate. I mean, he's not a big dude. But the problem is his O-line isn't very good. And why he's getting hurt is because he was trying to get out there and play hero ball rather than throw the ball away and be smart. So hopefully these kind of smaller injuries that he's gotten has helped him learn to, you know what, it's okay to throw the ball away and live to play another down. Now, in this game, they came out on top. But if they played each other again, I'd take the Texans again. I like their team better. So, you know, but at the same time, I didn't think the Panthers were going to go 0-17, right? So they were going to win a game at some point. And it happened that this is the one. But if they were to turn around and play them again, I don't think they would win it twice.
But you know what? And we definitely passed that. And yes, I do have a lot to say about Ohio State, but that's just for another day. But both of these guys, I'm a little bit more, I guess. I'm into what these rookies have to offer now. It doesn't seem like the same old, maybe for some, but it does not seem like you have the young guys that's just going out there throwing 4 picks and freaking game is over. You know what I mean? Like the Peyton Manning lumps. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Peyton Manning lumps used to be some lumps. Like, it doesn't seem like quarterbacks are really going through that. It seems like more now you have these guys that are freaking throwing their body out there. Mr. Richardson, like, hey, I hit people. I don't get hit. I hit people, and no, you don't hit people. This is the NFL.
That's right.
So
they are big and fast, and you will get hurt in a hurry.
Goodness gracious.
It's not a smart way to play football once you get to the NFL level. I mean, it's great that you're big and you can be physical, and you'll need that at moments, and you're going to have to learn when those moments are necessary. But if it's a second down in the early part of the game, that's probably not that moment, right? Like if it's the end of the game and you're trying to extend a play to get a winning drive or something, that's your moment. That's your, scramble out, try and make something happen, whatever, right? But you can't do that 10 plus times a game. You're going to get hurt. I mean, even dudes as big as Cam Newton couldn't consistently do that. You get hurt. It's you're going up against guys that are, significantly bigger than you and still run an incredibly fast 40. So it's not like going against, most college players, right? Like when you're playing in college, any given team might have 2 or 3 NFL guys, maybe, right? And now you're going to go against 53 dudes that were all Americans, right? So it's even your worst team in the NFL is the best at the college ranks. So if you think you're just going to run all over a defense as a quarterback, man, you got another thing coming. As soon as they start making contact, it can definitely shorten the length of your career.
Right. But kudos to these guys, because I really feel, they're, even with 2 Texans, not so much, but with one of the worst teams in the league. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm a red zone guy. I watch red zone a lot, and so I don't necessarily see the flow of every game. But what Bryce Young is putting together, even with the record, and they're just about in the thick of it every game. When he was injured, and shoot, do they have Dalton?
They do. Yeah.
And it seemed like so long ago, man, when he was out there throwing, like, darn. But even with Andy Dalton, I mean, the Thielen thing picked up, because honestly, I was like, whoa, with Adam Thielen out there, or with Andy Dalton out there, maybe he got to look at the field from, sit back a little bit, watch how things was going on, and maybe that helped. But again, hopefully it still carries over. That Richardson deal, that carries over, and that translates to him. Like, hey, look what that just happened to this kid. He's gone for the season. But that was an interesting game in my book. To say that with 2 teams that don't really have a chance, Texans again, not so much. We'll see what they can put together. But Panthers, it's just all about preparing for next season.
Yeah.
I know all about that right now. But
So you're saying you didn't love the trade deadline for your team?
I actually did. When you're looking
for the
at
picks, yeah.
when you're looking at what took place for us, what we got in return, what we were getting out of them, and the circumstances. I'm a Madden guy.
Okay.
I'm some people say, hey man, this ain't Madden. Shit. These GMs now, you better be out here playing Madden because listen, you can't put all this loyalty into guys that's not only that you paid, you can't sit here and when it comes to Jonathan Allen and Deron Payne, those are the guys with the contracts, right? Sweat and Chase, they don't have the contracts.
Yep.
You're not out there changing games. I don't see y'all out there, chest bumping. Y'all got 3, 4, 5 sacks in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, these guys ain't going nowhere. Nah. What do we expect as fans? What do we expect as Commanders fans? And the whole big question is who are you keeping? Who are you keeping? And I was saying the whole time, like, we're gonna mess around and watch both of those dudes go out the door.
Yep.
Hopefully we get something in return. And here we are. And I'm very thankful for it because we got a lot. You got a second, you got an extra second, we got an extra third. I don't know what we had before the fact. I know right now we're holding on to like 8 picks, maybe 8. I don't know if it was 8 before Chase or after Chase. Excuse me. But we'll see how that goes.
So I got a question for you then, as a Commanders fan. So since Riverboat Ron is on his way out the door, and Michigan's actively trying to get rid of Harbaugh, you try and go pick him up?
Ooh.
With all them picks?
Well, first things
on
first,
a guy that's
he's
been
gone.
in the college ranks?
First things first, he's gone. He's gone. I think you just watched 2 of your pieces go, and you pretty much like, okay.
Damn, I mean, he's gone, but do you go after Harbaugh, who has been in around all these college players, right? He's actively been scouting all these guys, recruiting. So then you bring him into your organization. He has all this knowledge of firsthand knowledge of watching all these kids play. You bring him in with all these picks you picked up. Like you could go from 0 to hero real quick. I mean, that's essentially what Pete Carroll did to Seattle.
That's tough with Bieniemy, you know what I mean? The wings like that, unless he wants to stay an offensive coordinator, and he pretty much is in favor of such a move, and he says, "Look, let me handle my thing, and you go do what you're supposed to do, your due diligence." I can see that possibly happening, but it's only if he's not willing to. And I really feel like at this point. Even at this point, I really don't think I'm starting to think that Bieniemy just doesn't want a coaching job. He doesn't want a head coaching job.
I mean, I don't know if I'd want that one because if it doesn't work, if it doesn't work for Bieniemy, I don't know if he gets another shot. If it doesn't work for Harbaugh, he gets another shot, right? Because Harbaugh has a resume behind him that'll allow him to fail somewhere because he hasn't ever yet. Bieniemy, he's got to have something good in his first outing, right? And Washington, it's been a while since they've been good. And the last thing you want to do is have all those picks, have it your first stint, and have it not quite work, right? Not to say that it wouldn't. I mean, absolutely, he could come in and crush it. So I'm not saying that. But if it doesn't, he's so much less likely to get another shot. And there's going to be other jobs that are better for a first-time coach. Because there's like 10 different coaches that are kind of on a hot seat at the moment. 6 of them are getting fired for sure. So, I mean, I don't know if staying in Washington would be the best coaching opportunity for Bieniemy, but it could be an interesting fit for Harbaugh.
I agree. I just it's oh my gosh, it's gonna take something dramatic to make this happen. So it's
Well, the
oh
dramatic
my
thing's
god.
already happened, though. You have a brand new ownership group. So they have the latitude to blow the whole thing up.
You had
Hmm.
more time.
Like they could come in and wipe it all out and they'd be like, new owners. Makes sense.
Right, right. Yeah, that just sucks to me. That just sucks to me. I say it's gonna be, it's gonna be a lot more turnover. I just hope it's I hope it's like today. You know what I mean, in the positive direction.
Yep.
Imagine if we would have got a fifth and a sixth rounder for Montez Sweat, and then maybe a fourth rounder for Chase Young. That would have hurt, man.
Yeah.
That would have hurt.
Yeah.
That would have hurt. And that would have been the Washington thing right there. That would have been the old Washington thing to do. And I just really feel like a lot of us need to be a little bit more positive. And I haven't heard. I just heard. Now I'm hearing fire the coaching staff except for Bieniemy, and let's just go ahead and pretty much start the dump trucks and stuff like that in the parking lot. But we'll see what's going on.
Ron's out. Ron Rivera's out.
Right.
As far as the rest of the coaching staff, who knows? But Ron's he's done.
Yeah, for sure. But okay, all right.
I mean,
so
Dave, look at it. Look at it this way. He had his time. He gambled, and he lost on black. I don't know. Straight up.
For sure. So, man, to I guess to round things off, man, with what we call Halloween, with the whole thing of Halloween, whole scary, spooky things that make you scared, make you crawl under the blanket and stuff like that. Who, as a offensive coordinator, we're gonna go across the board, man. Who as an offensive coordinator? If you're an offensive coordinator in the NFL, who is it that you do not want to see? Like, you're going into a week and they're telling you you're playing this team. Who is the defense? What defense is it that you like? I might quit now. I'm not going to be able to sleep all week, and this is going to be the worst Sunday of my life. What defense is that? What defense would that be? And I guess to start things off right now, I'm gonna be honest. At the end of the day, I still have some sort of fear of the Jets defense.
Sure.
The only thing that lightens the load on the Jets defense is the fact that that offense is going out there. That's the only thing that eased my heart and mind and my soul about playing the Jets, is knowing that offense is going out there. But if you had a top flight quarterback back there, you know what I'm saying, throwing darts, man, I wouldn't want to see that defense. And that's for me. I'm gonna go with the Jets defense. I guess this guy to the left of me is about to say Jags. Trevor, that's you.
Yeah, definitely. Jaguars.
Yeah.
Give me a reason why. Give me a reason why not.
Of course, you was gonna go to the Jaguars.
Why not?
Because they beat the Steelers. That's why.
It's scary because they don't look scary.
That's the whole story.
Wow.
But when they play us, we hunt them. We don't look scary now. We don't look scary. But when they play us, we hunt them. Every team we play, we hunt them.
Okay. I mean,
he
jumped in on this, so I had a feeling he was gonna say the Jags. I was like, here he is. So I guess he's here to tell us the Jags.
This year, well, it was the 49ers, but they didn't fell off. So
Yeah, I would have said the 49ers 2 weeks ago.
yeah. I don't know.
Definitely.
It really ain't no scary defense right now though. I don't even think the Jets defense scared. To be honest, they can get
Okay,
beat.
so I'm not gonna debate this, but you don't think
I'll
they're in
tell
games
you who
because
defense
you think
is
they're in
scared of
games
me.
because that's weird. Yeah.
We beat them last time we played them.
Yeah,
I'm not
but
scared of them.
you don't think they're having a chance because of their defense?
I mean, well, I mean,
Their offense ain't doing anything. They're even close because of their defense.
yeah. What it was, 13-10. I mean, it's a few other games like that too. To be honest, it
Who
really
knows if
ain't
Trent
nothing.
Dilfer? Who knows if Trent Dilfer will win them a game right now? But if Zach Wilson could play Trent Dilfer football, just like Bo said, not
They'd
turn
win
the
some games.
ball over, they would be I'm telling you, that's that deal. I'm not trying to debate. Like your defense is underrated. It's just I'm just saying that when it comes to who I'm talking about, the Jets, that
Do
defense
do
gives
they
them.
do they even get interceptions? Do they?
Okay,
Do they?
with your turn.
I mean, I honestly like. Do they really? They get a lot of
Yeah,
takeaways. I don't think so. Not as
they've
much as
seen
we do.
they've seen
Not
a
as much
few.
as we do. Not as
They've
much as
seen.
we do. We
I
got the most
understand.
takeaways over here, brother.
Okay. I'm
Interception
not.
every game, baby. Don't throw it to us.
I'm not
We
debating.
got
I'm
you.
just. That's just my team. That's all. Win has a team. Win.
Touch the ball when the defense touches the ball, it don't fall on the ground. We
Okay.
going that way.
We
But
talked
no, enough
Okay. You
enough
about
of
the
got it
my
teams that
team.
I'm
together.
Enough of my
choosing,
team. Enough of
and
my team.
For
we
real.
brought the Jaguars
The
up.
Lions. It's the Lions for you. What the hell is going on? There's some Halloween shit
Listen,
going on
man.
right now.
Right now, these boys are pretty scary.
Oh Lord. Hey man. I can't wait till the end of
Trying
this
to
year,
tell you,
man,
right
when
now, these
everybody
boys are
realize
pretty
how good we
scary, man. I
was.
don't know. They've been putting it in a week, and some way
Okay.
they really are actually showing us that they are not the same on this thing, and Anzalone's around everybody every time somebody needs tackling. Anzalone's around. So hey, look, it's hey, look, I gotta go with my scary defense being the Detroit Lions. You never know, man. You never know.
I mean, all I'm gonna say is the Lions stuff is good for TV, man. When it all comes down,
I'm
everybody gonna
scared team.
realize. I'm telling you, like, all right, we on a bye week. Next week we play the 49ers. We gonna I'm just telling you, bro. Like, I see it, bro. I see it, bro. I know it's a question in everybody head is in mind. I'm telling you, like people sleeping on our team. We still got top 5 lists that don't have our name on there. Like, okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm done with that. But I think the Lions thing. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. The Lions back in the proud or whatever. But you know, they could be beat, man. They could be beat. I'm sorry,
We
they could
gonna
be
let
beat.
we gonna let Bo. We gonna let Bo give his team. You trying to debate everybody's team, but
So
this.
so you're definitely not going to like this one, but it's probably actually Seattle because over the last 4 games they lead the league in sacks, right?
Yeah,
And not close.
that's
Like
a good one.
they solidly lead the league in sacks, and then they have a secondary that is elite, right? You got Spoon back there, you got Woolen back there, Diggs back there, Love back there, right? Like one of the best secondaries in football. And then they just added Frank Clark and Williams,
Who was it? There
right,
you
to
go.
that defensive line. So
Yep.
if you're already holding teams to some of the lowest yardage levels in the last 4 games, you lead the league in sacks in the last 4 games. You have, I forget what it is. There's, I want to say it was like 8 turnovers in the last 4 games. And and then you add 2 more dudes to that are both Pro Bowl caliber guys, that has to be one of the scarier defenses you're going to see. And then you still have Bobby Wagner in the middle of the field. And I mean, there's a lot of Pro Bowl, all pro dudes that you got to see on that side of the ball.
I agree. I going into the last 3 games, I forgot who was that y'all just washed. I mean, who was that? What's his name? That was on Thursday night, Sunday night.
I mean, they destroyed Daniel Jones. They got him for 11 sacks.
Okay,
they murdered that guy.
and whoever had a pick 6, I don't know who it was, but for fantasy purpose, it was Witherspoon. There you go, Witherspoon. When he pretty much
he balled out.
Yeah, he made his quota on one night. He made his quota on one night. One night. But yeah. At that point, I was saying to myself, like, yeah, I'm getting these guys on fantasy because they're about to get hot. I feel like that right now. When you're talking about hand in hand, how a defensive backfield and a defensive line works together, I just really feel like they're about to kind of step it up a little bit. Though that is a defense that I am definitely looking at. Like, every time I see them on the waiver wire, I'm like, I want y'all, but not right now. But I know for some reason y'all don't need to be sitting there like that. And we'll see. But I think Seattle is going. Yeah, like I want them, but I don't have room for them with what's going on right now.
To be fair, you don't want them.
I do. It's just okay.
No. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you don't want them.
Oh,
Tell them why, Bo. Tell them why, Bo.
Because fantasy is all about matchups, right?
All right.
And when you're looking at the defensive matchup for the Seahawks coming up,
right,
you have this week you're against Baltimore, who's on fire.
Which we're not. That's exactly why I'm not right.
So then, I think the week after that they have Washington. I don't remember offhand. And then you go into San Fran, Dallas, San Fran, Eagles. That's the gauntlet they're going up against. Oh, I'm sorry. It goes from Baltimore to the Rams, I think, actually. So it's Rams, Niners, Cowboys, Niners, Eagles after Baltimore. That is a gauntlet of games.
We'll see how spooky they are then. We'll see if they're spookier than us. We'll see if they're spookier than us then.
Well, I mean, you're not going to play that kind of lineup of teams.
I know.
Like, it's easy to say you're a badass if you're going against the Commanders.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me, Jay.
Man, it's true.
Oh, man.
I don't
It's true. It's true. But it's true. It's true. You know, we just if we could play the Eagles every week, you know, even though there've been losses, we would still look good. We would look good. The last loss was worse, you know. Whoever thought I'm not gonna, you know, take it there. But yeah.
Well, I mean, you guys are
I agree with those
players. It's gonna be rough.
Right. But I really agree with you, Bo. But now again, when you talk about that lineup, it's gonna be hard for that to be like one of the spookiest defenses in the NFL. But
no, and that's what I mean is you wouldn't want to pick them up, right? Because statistically, they're not going to be able to maintain those things because those are all Super Bowl contending teams, right? Like they're not even like, oh, I think they're going to make the playoffs. Like these are bet odds on favorites to get to the Super Bowl. So, I mean, those are going to be brutal matchups for any defense. I mean, even if the Jets had even if Rodgers was still there, if they had to play that series of teams, they're going to lose some of them games.
Hey, looking at our schedule, I think we're going to be like 14-3 for sure. I know it sounds crazy, but we're going to be 14-3. I see it.
14-3, the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Go ahead and tag it.
All right, I got it. I mean, you were right last season. Remember last season he said that they were gonna, you know, do what they were gonna do, and he ended up You know.
Mhm.
Should I pick up Gus Edwards or the Browns defense? Ooh,
Browns defense.
Browns going against who the Browns looking at this week?
Um,
Shoot.
It's a tough one.
It's not a division game. Well,
Cardinals.
Gus Edwards defense.
Cardinals.
Oh yeah, okay.
Browns
Yeah,
defense.
Yeah, Browns defense.
I mean,
Bring
against
up
the
the Browns
Cards,
defense.
Ooh, but then
probably. If I remember right, they're starting the rookie. It's still not.
Kyler.
It's still not
Okay.
Kyler this week. I think they're starting the rookie.
Yeah, I'm going with the Browns defense, but Gus Edwards. I mean,
Who they play? They play the Seahawks.
Wild Card Mara, what's up, buddy?
yeah, that's gonna be a real. I don't know. I would still go with that
It's-
defense, but Gus, he's pretty consistent on the running game, and that's crazy
Not against the
because
spooky defense, though. The spooky defense.
man, we're gonna get off this spooky defense. Yeah, we're gonna
You're
get
saying
off.
the Cardinals have a spooky defense?
No, he's still
play
talking about the
They
Jags.
play the Seahawks.
Oh,
Spooky.
They play the Seahawks. The spooky defense.
I mean, they
That's what
lost
they
to the Seahawks because of that defense. Because that offense wasn't doing nothing.
Definitely.
I was sitting there mad the whole game.
Y'all talk about Janos and the GM getting fired in Vegas.
Hey, we got another one. Hey, did y'all talk about Josh McDaniels and in Vegas? Yes, we also did bring up.
Yeah, we talked about him.
Davante Adams and his
he
first
absolutely
ever
should be fired.
on-field explosion of brain cells.
I wish they fired him last week.
Yeah, sorry, Josh McDaniels did not do. He's not going to do well in Vegas. I think we should just, forgive and forget, and somehow get him a Vegas needs a good team. If anybody needs a good team, I think on that one.
That was the other spot I thought that Harbaugh could end up was Vegas.
That's just a weird spot. I just really, I mean, it's like it was said, like Davante Adams. That's what he said.
Yeah, hey, look, and I think that one too.
What? Oh, no, I thought you were about to say
Jim
something.
Harbaugh in Vegas.
No,
I like it.
Your signal just cut out, man. I have no idea what you said.
Uh-oh.
All right, I got you now.
Yeah,
but now
my computer might be just tripping right now.
All right, but yeah, man.
I still don't know what he said.
I still, yeah.
Yeah, we caught none of that, man.
What were you saying?
Did you mute yourself? Or are you doing sign language? What are we doing?
Hey, well, since I don't know what he's trying to do,
He probably still talk about the Seahawks defense.
I don't know.
No idea.
But Bo, we really appreciate having you again, man. We really, man, anytime, if you want to stop through with, I don't know. Okay, yeah.
My mic was just like, I was looking at it like, did somebody mute me? Like, how did that happen? It was blank. It's like, what the hell's going on with the mic? But go ahead. But go ahead. Yeah, Bo, thanks, man. Once again. Oh my God.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Always fun hanging out with you guys.
Oh man, we really burning the midnight and the next day's oil right now. But Bo, please tell everybody, man, where they can find you and that for the other channels that we have up.
Yeah. So you can catch me on my channel, which is at football-talk, and of course on Twitter at Football Talk with Bo, and on Thursday and Friday mornings on Roku TV.
Oh wow,
Man, this is blessed.
that's
Yeah,
big.
man, we got to catch that as well. Like, Bo is somebody like, when we talk. I think one thing, the first thing I ever heard Bo say when we was talking on during the draft was Bo was like, "Yeah, wait till the film drops." I was like, "That's my guy. That's my guy. That's my guy right there." Because I'm always telling somebody, I'm like, "Man, did you see what he did?" I'd be like, "Yeah, wait till they get film on him." That's always me. So that's between you and Botkins, get certain guys. I just we're kind of like brothers in a way somehow. You know what I'm saying? Somehow. But wit, wit, wit. Okay, Bo. Again, thanks for having you.
Yep.
Have
a good night, guys.
All right, you too. In
Same
sign
here,
language. All right. Wit. 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 How does this look right here? How does that
He not,
look?
he
He's
he
not
not
here.
there right now. Mm.
All right, so let's talk about this, man. We're moving on, and we're about to wrap this up. But we got our fantasy league, man, the rec league, season 2. After week 8, I want to pretty much say that can you see me down there? Yes, you can at number 9. Yeah. That's me down there, number 9.
It
How
look
in the
like you.
world?
It look like you got more points.
Yeah, but everybody has their best day against me. What's up with that?
I
What
don't
is
know,
up with
man.
that? At 1,372 points. And then, I'm not gonna. No, go ahead, Mr. Number 1. Go ahead. Go ahead. Say what you gotta
Oh
say,
no,
man.
man. It's about wins and losses, man. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
I just got more wins right now. I just gotta
Yeah,
keep it up.
pretty soon. I'm just putting this out there. You know, and it was so far has been such a valiant effort. Number 3, bury the QB, which is Mr. That's my guy, man. I gotta, I hope he comes back from this loss.
Hell of a
Uh
turnaround. Hell of a turnaround.
Man, for him to again, like I swear we was gonna make a t-shirt. I'm gonna find that picture, I'll make that t-shirt, and I'm gonna wear that. I wanted to make a t-shirt of that picture of him drafting. The face that you make after you draft James Cook. We got that picture somewhere.
Yeah.
So I would actually have thoughts of wearing that t-shirt and wearing that during our draft this season. I didn't get to do it. I guess I forgot about it, whatever the case may be. So that I ain't gonna say a long season, man. It's we're going in. We're at week 9, basically. Um, you know, you there, number 1, man. I can't say anything. I can't say anything. Last year's winner. Last year's winner is at number 10. You can't see him. Mr. Cheat Code. I'm going to take that out for right now.
Everybody.
Yeah, Mr. Cheat Code. You know what I'm saying? I need to definitely holler. He's been talking trash. So, you know what I'm saying? So far, I still need to check up on him though. But he's been talking some trash. But and as far
Y'all
as
play
this
each other?
league, yeah, I beat him in this league.
Oh, okay.
I beat him in this league. I think I did. I'm pretty sure I did beat him in this league. But in another league, he beat me. And then I got plenty. I got 3 chances to return some favors. So either way, you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to everybody, man. I'm really
What
liking hmm?
I was about to say, no, who you say you really like it?
I
What
really like
team?
it. For right now, man. Of course, with what Kareem is doing, but of
Oh
course,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's dope.
Joe always you doing what he do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna put
Jordan.
it like this. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna do one of these I'm gonna make history or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But something's gonna be afoot. How they say
Ain't far fetched though. Ain't far
something's
fetched though,
afoot.
because two losses and your win could get you right back in
Yeah,
the top six.
yeah, yeah.
Probably see
I'm
one loss really
I got Allen.
from Freeport or B Will, and
You know,
your win because you got the points, so you gonna be right back up there.
hopefully I will. You know what I'm saying? But you know, come on, what were you talking about? Free man, somebody get that guy a championship. Oh my god, man. He be talking about I'm glad. Hey, he be telling people, hey, thank you for your donation. I'd be like, yo, man, it's been 8 years, bro. You've been donating a lot of money, bro. Thank you for your donation. I'll be just,
No,
man, what a championship, man. Damn. All right, so we moving on, man. And
yeah,
that's the funniest thing there, man. Like I'm not gonna go on about it, but you gotta win a championship sometimes, man. You definitely gotta win a championship sometimes. So we're gonna do a little NBA talk, man. We got the NBA in season tournament. Uh, pretty much it is what it is when it comes to the tournament. Um, we had what the first games today, right?
oh yeah, I ain't even thought about it. Yeah,
So
November. Yeah.
my whole thing is, my whole thing when it comes to the tournament, and I know we'll definitely want to talk more about it, but when it
Mm.
comes to the tournament, I just really feel this was something like a pretty much a ploy that was, put out by the NBA to, get people to watch. Like me myself, I've fallen into this thing where it's almost like talk to me after the All-Star break. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? And I was kind of not really liking that, but at the same time, like it's what are you really missing from pretty much like the obvious, somebody
Hmm.
scoring like 50 points, a team going on a certain win streak or whatever. It's pretty much not hard to keep up with, but as an in-season tournament, I think with all teams in this tournament and the seeding, maybe like Wit can help me. Like I was telling Wit earlier, like I'm gonna need to actually watch some games and see where every team stands before I start really understanding like what's really going on. Um, but again, nobody's watching the beginning of the season, starting to lose a lot of viewership. And I just really feel like this is something which I think will help a lot. But, you know, we're going to see who comes out of this and what comes out of this. There's still a lot left to me to be seen. With you there?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Oh, okay.
sorry. Yeah, I had a little complication with the internet just pop out. But yeah, so from what I was looking at with the conferences and Group A, Group B, Group C, once again it's like a round robin tournament and everything. And just like you're saying right now, it's going to be really hard to determine who's going to do what. You know what I'm saying, especially with this really early in the season viewership. Um, what I'm thinking is, you know, when it comes to a tournament like this, where it's going to pretty much be about, you know what I'm saying, who can get you in and who can get you out, who's going to be scoring the points like that. I got a lot of ups and a lot of downs about it, because of course it's going to be who's in what group. Like when I'm thinking about, like, especially the beginning of the tournaments, yeah, like Group A has Memphis, Phoenix, uh the Lakers, Utah. This is the West. This is Group A in the West now. This is Memphis, the Phoenix Suns, the Lakers, the Utah Jazz, and Portland. Right Then Group A in the East is Philly, Cleveland, Atlanta, Indiana, Detroit. Somewhere in how they got this, I don't, and this was a random group in, from what I understand. The way that they got these set up is that, of course, towards those last 2 months during like January, February, they're going to make sure everybody's available, and then they're just going to start running them. So it's also going to have a whole lot to do with who plays who when. Is it after a back to back? Are we going to start having them? You know what I'm saying? Be transposed into, you know what I'm saying? It being, whereas, okay, y'all know that they're starting to find players about, load management. All of this is going to play into this. But if I think really hard, and this is just me, and I'm trying to use, my brain and not really go with my heart in this one. I'm really, and this is probably way too early to think about it, but I'm just looking at it, and I'm probably the most afraid of like the Golden State Warriors going off somewhere in here, because as of right now, we're seeing the teams who made the better decisions as far as building their teams come together just a little bit faster for continuity. But of course, the rest of the season has to go on. One of the big things these last couple of games, man, if you've been living under a rock, man, Steph Curry looked like Steph Curry. All right. And Klay Thompson is looking kind of good. I think me and you, Jay, we had a conversation, when we first discovered the Chris Paul trade was happening. And I was like, man, it's going to go back to a style of ball that they played when they had Jared Jack and Sean Livingston, and basically Steph Curry doesn't have to worry about running an offense or, setting up the play. And he could just be a shooter, just run off the screen, come up, and everybody saw on SportsCenter how he did it the other night. He got the ball, hit the crossover, went around Uncle Draymond, and boop, he up fake. Whoa, Dylan Brooks goes flying, boom, drops the three, makes the crowd go nuts. I really feel like, and this is no knock on Barnes out there in Sacramento, but Andrew Wiggins is a better player both ways, in my opinion. I think that if they got it all going together, who knows, man? Somehow, some way, we might see. We might not see them win the NBA championship, but I would be looking forward to Golden State Warriors getting hot and just smoking cats one game at a time, and maybe possibly doing it big and getting this inaugural championship. So that's my way too early prediction for that one, man. What about you, Jay? If you could pick one team offhand this early for a really small sample size, who would you pick for that you would win?
It's definitely gonna be I again I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question because I'm gonna tell you, like, I want to see what comes out of this, what type of rivalries come out of here. I want to see. You never know, a fight might take place and then it starts a whole new rivalry. I don't know. I'm just looking forward to see what's deployed, what's going on here. Like, what are they looking for? Which we know what they're looking for, but what is this pointing towards? Of course, I'm pulling for my Blazers, being we being the little guys. The favorites, so to say. Sorry. But pulling for Portland, man. I just want to see. I'm more into being a fan right now and just trying to see what type of thing comes out of this. Um, you know, that's my thing. I definitely want to see like what type of how does it set up the rest of the season with them putting this in here. Where are we going from here? I want to see what takes place. I want to see if the teams. I want to see if Wemby. I want to see the smaller market teams, the teams that's not supposed to win. I want to see them come up and somehow make some type of name here because I think they're trying to do that as well. But I'm just looking forward to seeing the competition and what this brings as far as competition.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. That's definitely what I think they're trying to inspire. They got some really great incentives, as far as teams that win for the players, for charities as well. If they're getting a little philanthropic, it's a real button pusher as far as saying, hey man, viewership is down. Nobody takes the regular season serious. Everybody gets real serious when it's time for the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. Now forget all of that, man. We want y'all to play hard now. We're going to make it worth something. We're going to send you to Vegas. We're going to give you some money. We're going to give you TV time. It's a lot involved in putting it together. So I like it. I can't wait to see it. The experiment has worked very well in the W, which is the WNBA. Big shouts out to the Las Vegas Aces. You know what I'm saying? But it big, it's worked very well to drive viewership to the product, which is the NBA, and putting the players on the court. And I can't wait to see it in action. I gave my way too early prediction. It might change. My choices are fluid. They are subject to change. But moving forward, man, what's the next thing you got, Jay? What we got going? Harden in LA. What, man? Oh, listen, bro. We was talking about James Harden going somewhere else months ago. And when I say months ago, I mean months ago. Seasons end, we was talking about this, and we got the Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never play for an organization that he is in charge of. And let me say it again. Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never play for an organization that he's in charge of. And as soon as that happened, it was no turning back. And I guess you have to. I'm trying to look at it from an objective point of view. Daryl Morey is a liar, or possibly, but hey, he did you one last favor. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even want to bring it up like that, but even Damian Lillard didn't get to go where he wanted to go, right? But James Harden gets to go to the Clippers. And when we look at the trade itself, man, it's a lot of moving pieces. You got James Harden, his best friend PJ Tucker. I knew that was going to happen. And Philippe Petrusev, the 3-point shooter. And then it's all going to the Clippers. But then the 76ers receive a pretty big haul that includes Marcus Morris Sr., Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, and Kenyon Martin Jr. I don't know if y'all saw anything from Gilbert Arenas' podcast. Kenyon Martin Sr. is pretty emotional about his son being traded to Philadelphia. But also, it is including 2 first-round picks and a 2029 pick swap and a 2 second-round picks as well. And somehow, some way, all of this gets to go towards times in which may or may not, because we don't know. I think it's a really big futuristic move because with this 2029 pick swap and the second round, I believe, is in 2028. That sounds like they're planning for Joel Embiid to not be there. And that's just my opinion. But what when you think about winners and losers from this trade, man, Jay, what you thinking? Who won? Who lost this one?
I've never been to a strip club in LA, but let's so my thing
multiracial strippers, man. They gotta have multiracial strippers.
No. Okay, so I I would say somewhere around LAX. I've been in LA, mind you, I've been in LA plenty of times, but I haven't made it to the strip club because I'm sorry, I'm from the East Coast, not to do anything like a 90s rap or anything, not being a 90s rap reference, but I kind of watched myself after one night at a KFC in a drive-through and a 5.0. I'm good. I'm good. I'll take. I don't really watch too much TV, and it's about movies. I've seen something that's pretty freaking real to me, and that's all I need to see. I stay in my vehicle at all times, even though I needed some chicken late at night while I was driving my 18 wheeler. Even driving the 18 wheeler, I was not safe that night. Um, you know, when a guy starts doing something like this, and and music is being played in front of a KFC loudspeaker.
Did he ask you where you were from?
I think he was pretty much doing all of that. The exchange of where are you from? Why are you here? This is where I'm from. This is my I got all of that.
That's what those signs mean, right? That's exactly what those signs mean.
He was in a 5.0. It was the most stereotypical thing I've ever seen in my life. He had a 5.0 with Dayton's on it. It was blue. It was a drop top. He was playing music. It was very loud. The tweeters were going. I heard Crip. I heard Blue. I heard Set. I heard a lot of things. So you got to understand, and I'm not trying to venture off. I'm just going to this point right here. California is a lot bigger than South Carolina. I can make an album right now and sell it to enough people in California more than I was. So you understand what I'm saying? There's enough people in California or Texas or wherever the case may be that I can sell this music and go gold. You understand what I'm saying? Like I can go gold in one state.
Definitely.
So there's type of music that is played in California that we never really get to listen to.
And it's specific to California.
Gang culture. It's specific to gang culture. Whether whatever. I'm not. Anyway. There's some strip clubs around there, around LAX, going the back way. Seeing a lot of industrial buildings. Saw some clubs. Look pretty.
What's crazy? This is a video of the fun guy enjoying himself last night as they made the announcement over the PA speaker at a local gentleman's club that James Harden was being traded because the trade happened at like 2 in the morning. And this is that's the fun guy.
Who's that?
Kawhi Leonard.
Oh,
you didn't see the New Balance sweaty, the New Balance hoodie?
Oh man. Okay,
He's gonna fit right in. He's gonna fit right in, man.
This is gonna be fun to watch. So, as far as winners, the strip club could win. But I dubbed the term hardening in LA. You understand? Because a lot of that's gonna be going on. I think the winners, man, is they're gonna be definitely Philly. Philly's the winner, man. Like it just has to work towards a championship for them to be the winners of this trade. It has to be. There's no other way. It's like championship or bust or something to that effect over Philly. Like Philly won. Like they got defense. They're not getting defense from this guy. They got defense. They got a little offense. They got some veteran crowd. Like they got some veteran leadership. Nah, man. Like this has to work for LA at the highest level for them to be winners. But definitely Philly.
Hey, listen, man, and I think this is equal parts win and lose for both. In my opinion, when I think about what the Sixers got, they got Marcus Morris Sr. shooting defense. You got Robert Covington. Back when they started originally playing small ball, they had Robert Covington playing the 4 or the 5 all the time. Nick Batum, defense. Michael Jordan might not like Nick Batum, but Nick Batum, defense. And Kenyon Martin Jr., a slasher, somebody who's going to be serviceable. And these picks right here are all going to be trade bait for somebody so they can use that to get another player, and they may package one of these players to go along with that. And then on the back end, man, when I think about Harden, the shoe guard, PJ Tucker, shout out to PJ Tucker, man, the shoe guard, the real shoe guard. And it Protrusive. Okay, so let's say Protrusive really can get in there and spot up and shoot. Period. There's no questions about that. Harden, one of the main things, and this is me just throwing it out there. One of the main reasons I think that this is a possibility to work is because right now with those four gentlemen, and I wish this on none of them, but if there was to be an injury during the regular season, somehow, some way, the playing field or the basketball gods will work themselves out, because one of the four of them will be gone. The other three will excel until the fourth person comes back. And as long as they have a way to maintain some synergy, because of course, all California guys, they've been, playing in California in high school. They've probably been bumping into each other half their lives when they go home. You know what I mean? They can develop a chemistry that is unlike any other that has ever been reproduced in a Clippers uniform. I
I mean,
really can see that happening.
now
But
this
last
is
but
like you
not
said.
least, huh?
I'm sorry, I was saying just like you said, that's going to prove to be a big story because I would say James probably was the most sought out of all of them. Maybe, being at Arizona State, not really big for basketball, but that's going to prove to be a big story. All being Cali guys, all coming from just about the same area. Um, you know, see what they make out of it.
Yeah. And then last but not least, the factors of James Harden being really good during the season, leading the league in assists last year. I think that takes some stress off of Russell, man. I mean, I like my Russell Westbrook running up and down the court, receiving assists, I'd like doing the hockey assist. James gives the ball to Russell. Russell somehow gets in the lane. Russell passes it to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I got PG Paul George right now, 38.7% on spot up threes. Standing still. Paul George. Look at that. You know what I'm saying? And we know right now the mid-range game may be dying out, but Kawhi Leonard is still a great mid-range to three-point shooter when he's healthy. You know what I mean? So and then also once again, the new word of the season is load management fines. You can rest with a couple of them and rotate, 2 or 3 of these guys. We see at the beginning of the season right now, look at Phoenix. Kevin Durant's playing. Bradley Beal ain't. Devin Booker sitting down. So and they're still doing well. So just imagine a team with these 4 all-stars or past all-stars, 2 MVPs, okay, 1 defensive player of the year, all on the same team, and possibly just rotating. Hey man, look, all right, this is gonna be your couple days to sit down. You gotta rest your knee, you gotta rest your calf, you gotta rest your quad. Okay, we're just gonna work out a good schedule. Everybody will get their days in, and then we're gonna be ready for the off season. Does this make them any better than Denver? Nah, because ain't nobody. I don't see nobody playing with Jokic. I really don't. I still see Aaron Gordon guarding somebody. Whoever hot, Aaron Gordon is on him. Jamal Murray is still on it. It's tough.
This last thing. What bothers me about this trade is that they were pretty hot before they made this trade. They were looking like, of course, with load management is going to still come into effect because he had like 30 something the other night, and then now he's hurt. Like who do you know? Who else have you ever seen in the NBA that could score 40 tonight and then after the game you say, yeah, tomorrow he's not going to play because he's hurt?
Man, it's specific. Right now, it is specific to that set of players, and partially, I'm not denying, or I'm not saying that any of them have ever sat there and said, "All right, I really can't play and could." But listen, man, when it comes to what the new regime of the NBA upper echelon is saying, you got to play. If LeBron is 40, if LeBron's 40 and still balling, you got to get your 27, 28, 20, 32 year old behind out there and play too, man. But still yet, once again, being in all seriousness, I like this trade for James Harden. I like this trade for the future of the Sixers. The Clippers are making some noise in the West now, but they still got a tough road to climb because LeBron is not going away. The Sacramento Kings are different. The Denver Nuggets are still available. We have yet to see what the Phoenix Suns look like in total. So we really got to see what this season looks like. And maybe Jay, maybe the Clippers make some noise in the midseason tournament. Who knows?
Right. All right. So I don't know, man. We about to pretty much wrap this thing up, man, and you know, we got that thing. We got that thing. What? Now,
Go ahead.
usually I'm all about what's that about. I pretty much put up a picture, and I pretty much go on a small little vent about what I see or what is going on. But in this case, being that Mr. Witt here is the boxing aficionado, I want him to pretty much speak for me, so to say, because somebody, I'm gonna repeat, somebody got robbed. Somebody got robbed. And I said, you know what? We're gonna talk. This is what's that about going to be, and I want you to explain how this man got robbed. He got robbed.
Oh man, question, right? Riddle me this: how much money does it take for me to pay judges in Abu Dhabi?
Look,
I don't know, millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's a possibility because you know why? This match was a setup for another match, which will cost and pay other people hundreds of millions of dollars, regardless of the outcome. So what happened was, of course, everybody, if y'all were living under a rock, Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury, who is the lineal heavyweight boxing champion, right, set up a what you would call a friendly match, right, to quote unquote find out who the baddest man on the planet was. If you don't know who Francis Ngannou was the heavyweight champion of the UFC. He was not beaten. Okay, he did not lose, but he also wanted a upkick in his pay. He was fighting for rights for the UFC fighters, and he was also going to get like the largest shares of pay-per-view buys in UFC history, even bigger than John Jones. But because Francis said, no, I really don't care about all of that. I really want health care for the UFC fighters. Dana White said, I ain't paying for them to get healthy because they get hurt all the time. Forget all of that. And Francis walked. But everybody knows right now, one of the biggest paydays of our modern time, of the time where the internet is there, and I can say, hey Jay, you know what, man? I'm gonna meet you in Arizona next week. Let's do this. You know what I'm saying? It happened, and somewhere in there, Tyson Fury said, "Look, I don't care who he is. He's a big sausage." That's what he kept calling him. He's a big happy sausage. And yeah, I know that's
Pause. but
Pause.
somewhere in there, they got it signed, they got it figured out. And everybody, and when I say everybody from the sports world was there, okay? The Boxing Hall of Fame was there. It played like all these old boxers, everybody. Nobody gave Francis Ngannou a chance at all. And I'm talking about a snowball's chance in hell for him to do anything to the lineal champ Tyson Fury. Because if you know anything about Tyson Fury, I think he's 30-0-1. It's crazy because he's one of the biggest boxers out there, but he fights like a middleweight or light heavyweight. And right now, Francis Ngannou was being trained by Mike Tyson, the one of the baddest men on the planet at the time. And in the match, all leading up to it, I was at work, Jay, and I'm looking at my phone, and the fight starts at 2. Then the first fight happens, bing, TKO. Second fight happens, bing, TKO. Third fight, I'm like, this is crazy. They are stopping every boxing match. This is what's going to happen when we get to the main event. And then they brought out Lil Baby and some Hispanic lady in Abu Dhabi in a $10 billion arena. Shout out to the Sheikh who was in charge of the United Emirates, entertainment industry. He put on a great show. I would love to come and visit your country. Me and Jay, I will buy a thobe. Jay will buy a thobe. We already got the bald heads. We will cover up. We will follow protocol to come to your country and enjoy some entertainment.
I even grow a bigger beard.
I will. We will go all in to enjoy some entertainment in Abu Dhabi. I promise you.
Yes.
But when the ring, they elevated the ring from under the stage, it was glorious. But then when the fight happened, it was a fight, like a real boxing match. And Francis Ngannou was sticking and moving, and Tyson Fury looked confused. And he was like, wait a minute, he's a little faster than I thought. The next thing you know, pop, he's on the ground. Tyson Fury's on the ground. When I say, and the crowd, the way that the ring is set up, it's like a concave circle, so you can kind of see up. Everybody stood up. Everybody. And I'm losing my mind because at the time I'm driving. You're not supposed to drive and look at your phone, but I promise y'all people, my phone was to my right. A man of East Indian descent was driving a cab next to me. If you know anything about Florida, it's Z cabs. The man was in the car with the phone on the jack, and I could see him next to me. And I was, and so I'm looking at my phone. My phone is in the armrest, and I'm like, he knocked him out. And the dude is. We had the light. He going crazy. I'm like, oh my god! But let's get back to it. So, but he does get up. I think that the count was extremely long. It was really like 16 seconds. When you get to 8, you technically are standing up. They wipe your gloves off. He was down for 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Damn. It's over with. But they continued to fight. Did he also, Tyson Fury, throw an elbow? On accident or on purpose? I don't know, but it did. He landed an elbow. They didn't point him for it. And then at the end of the match, when it was all said and done, they hugged like gentlemen. Tyson Fury kissed Francis Ngannou on the forehead because he knew that was a payday. He made it through the fight because that there are clauses in these fights. You go down before the 7th round, you get X amount of dollars. You get knocked out, you get X amount of dollars. He made it all the way to the end, getting hit by and Francis Ngannou holds the Guinness Book of World Records punch for most horsepower in a punch. He took one. He got up. Okay, and that right there, my friends, is the rub. Where Francis got robbed in Abu Dhabi. He really should be the lineal champion right now. But what they did was set up a fight between Fury and Usyk, which will be held in December. And it will be held, guess where? Right there in that very stadium, which is beautiful, by the way. Thank you, Sheikh, for putting it on. Once again, Jay and I would love to visit your country and show you some respect, visit you and your people, and be a part of the ceremonies. Just to sit next to you and your great hospitality. We would love to do that one day. But yeah, and we want to see Usyk and Fury now, and I promise you, that's going to be a spectacle in itself. So, did they possibly have Ngannou lose just to get another $200 billion? I don't know, but Francis Ngannou was my winner. He's my lineal champ, and that's what that was all about last weekend.
Bet. All right, man. We usually do a lot going into like celebrity sports celebrity birthdays and things like that. But we're gonna do something a little different tonight. Uh this morning. Uh
Now,
we're gonna go over what could possibly we're gonna go across the board, man, and I guess we're gonna see um interesting.
hmm.
Interesting here. Interesting.
Mhm.
Um I'm sorry, y'all. With here. All right. So what we gonna do here? We'll move this out the way here. I'm sorry, y'all. Um. Oh. Okay. Help me out here. Help me out here. Help me out here. All right.
All right.
So we're gonna do um favorite Halloween movie. Um.
Hmm.
You want to go first?
Uh, yeah. So when I think of Halloween movies, y'all, you maybe you can clown me about this one, but
Oh.
it's a cult classic. You know what I'm saying? If you real ones know that Tim Burton's A Night Before Christmas when it comes to Halloween celebrations. That pretty much was is a solid one in my book. When you just talk about horror, man, just regular old horror, man, Halloween ish. I mean, if you're gonna talk about the great ones, man, you got to talk about the original, not the original, but the second Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out. I'm with that one. That's definitely a scary movie in itself. But classic man. Last but not least, man, classic man. Ain't nothing like. And this only happened one time. Ain't nothing like Buster Rhymes cursing Jason Voorhees out, and Jason walking away from him after he deprived him of being able to stab Buster Rhymes. That's one of my favorite ones right there.
Dang, I missed that one. Which one was that? Jason Takes on New York or something?
No, that was like
Who?
Jason Returns or something. They was shooting a movie where they was portraying Jason, and little did they know that it was really Jason that they was in there with until he started actually killing the actors. And Buster Rhymes was like the Buster Rhymes was like the actor, was like the direct, not the director, either the director or the stunt double or something. And he had on a Jason mask, and he's talking to Jason like, "Boy, you supposed to be in the back. How you gonna run into me when the cameras is on?" Yeah, it was like it was like a reality TV show. It was like a reality TV show, and then but the actors didn't know that Jason was going to be the scary person, but it was Buster Rhymes playing Jason, and Buster Rhymes walks into Jason, curses Jason out. The only person to ever get away with it. Buster Rhymes curses Jason out, and Jason walks away, and he kills like some girl and puts her on a hook in a room or something like that.
That's crazy, yo. Busta Rhymes, yo. That's why he's top five to me dead or alive, yo, because only he can curse out Jason Voorhees and still live.
Resurrection in 2002. Halloween
Flatbush.
Resurrection 2002.
I'm telling you, it's a Flatbush thing, y'all. That is definitely a Flatbush thing. So, hey man, we're gonna go with I guess Trevor fell asleep on me over here. We got any last thoughts here?
Uh, hey man, NBA season is going strong. Um, Drew Holiday playing point guard. I like it. Celtics looking pretty good. Porzingis looking healthy. Can't wait to see what it looks like the rest of the season.
I mean, pretty much for me, man. Again, man. For you Tar Heel fans, Joe, like Cooper Flag is coming. Um, the nickname with the nickname, Colonel Flag, he's coming. He's coming. He's coming. He's like Michael Myers, man. Oh, that's crazy. I gotta see this. Halloween Resurrection. Okay, I thought it was something else. But yo, man, big shout out to everybody that came on. Big shout out to Big Allen. You know what I'm saying, representing the Texas Rangers out here. Big shout out to Bo. Bo always doing his thing. Um, I gotta go out to Seattle, see some things. Uh,
Right.
but yeah, get with Bo. See what's going on, man. Like, try and travel out. But big shout out to Bo. Big shout out to T Sweat. He's probably on here, knocked out.
And don't
But
forget, got to shout out Jonathan Grisham for coming on for the first
I
time.
missed him. I
He
missed
is our
him.
he is definitely our A1 baseball analyst. If you missed the first 45 minutes of the show, you missed a whole bunch of baseball knowledge. I didn't want to stop him from talking, but hey, we did it. We made it. Rec Room Halloween show is scary, baby. I'm telling you. Just wait till we put this out again. All right.
All right, so I'm gonna T Sweat, you there?
Uh-oh. Yeah, nah. No sweat.
No sweat, huh?
Nope.
We ain't got no sweat.
Nope. I think he's
No
out.
sweat. All right. Well, you know what? Once again, we're gonna close this out. I don't know where T Sweat is. He's supposed to be
Jason
here.
got him.
Jason got him. He's gone. Hopefully, take his ass to Cleveland. I mean, to LA or something, and leave his ass there. Down. Tell him to figure it out. But man, we're gonna catch you on Tuesdays, and that's pretty much it, man. Let's get out of here.
Peace. Talking about 2 hours of show.